officers. Welcome to chapters and welcome to another important current affairs weekly revision class in which we are going to cover the 15th to 22nd of February 2026. So you all know that till now we are already done with the month of March, April, 1st to 15th of May, and we are done with the 1st to 14th of February 2026, right? And in the today's session, we will be covering 15th to 22nd of February 2026. I believe that till now, every one of you have completely revised, retained all the information that we have covered for the 1st to 14th of February 2026, and you have also solved the MCQs of the same, right? And when it comes to the next part in the today's session, we are going to cover the 15th to 22nd of February 2026 from examination point of view. Good afternoon, Pratyush, and all the people who have joined us live today. My dear friends, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if I am audible and visible to all of you so that we can start with the today's session. My dear friends, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if I am audible and visible to all of you so that we can start with the today's session. Just to confirm if all the technicalities of the session are good and we are good to go with the today's session. Is everything fine? So I'm waiting for a response in the chat box, my dear future officers. Okay, so thank you, Pratish, for giving me the responses that yes, all the technicalities of the session are good and we are good to go. So, my dear friends, when it comes to the 15 to 22nd February 2026 current affairs chapter, first of all, I would like to tell you that in the current affairs chapter, we are having the two sections, that is phase 1 and 2, which covers all the important reports, schemes, RBI notifications, programs and initiatives. And then we are having the phase 1 section, which comprises of the articles which are not related to the syllabus, which includes some miscellaneous current affair articles. For example, we are having the sports, defense, awards, exercises, and everything, right? So today, for the month of February, the priority area for us is covering the phase 1 and 2 section only from the examination point of view. And this is the list of articles that we are going to cover in the today's session. So today we are having around 33 articles, my dear friends, right? So I hope that we are good to go and we are good to start with the today's session. Let's move ahead with the very first news article, that is record power generation capacity addition in fiscal year 25-26. Now let me tell you, my dear friends, that we have already covered the latest data in the power generation capacity of the country, and this data in this news article is only updated till 31st of January 2026 and is a data which is volatile in nature, right? So basically, in the month of February, we have seen that a record 52,537 megawatt of power generation capacity was added during the fiscal year 25-26. So what is the amount? 52,537 megawatt, in which 39,657 megawatt was added from the renewable energy sources, which includes 34,000 from solar power and 4,613 megawatt from the wind power, which is the highest ever capacity addition in a single year. Clear? So what is the amount here? 52,537 megawatt is the power generation capacity that was added from all sources for the fiscal year 25-26. Clear everyone? 52,537 megawatt. And out of this, solar power was having 34 and wind power was having 4,600 megawatts of the installed power capacity. Clear? Let's try to answer this question from the Grisham round PDF, and here we are having this particular PDF. Let me switch on the annotations. So please give me here in the chat box what is the right answer. What is that power generation capacity which was added during fiscal year 25-26 up to 31st January 2026? What is the right answer? How much amount it was? So it was 52,537 megawatt. Absolutely right. And when it comes to the solar power and wind power, it was around 39 megawatt from the renewable energy sources. Absolutely right. So well done, Herschel and Pratish. Both of you have given me the right answer from the examination point of view. Let's move on to the next news article. The CBDC-based public distribution system in Gandhinagar, Gujarat Now, my dear friends, what is a CBDC based public distribution system? Let me tell you here that a CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. Now, let's take an example, my dear friends, that let's take an example that we are working in an organization, right? And that organization basically tells us that, okay, so here we are providing you the coupons for the food. Okay, if you want to purchase the food, you can use those coupons. Like Sodexo coupons are there. But let us warn you that you cannot use these coupons for, watching the movies or purchasing the grocery items. No, you can only use these coupons in the restaurants to eat food, right? So these coupons which are carrying these values, they can only be used for purchasing the food items and they cannot be used for purchasing the groceries or the movie tickets. That means these coupons are programmable. If even I will be using these coupons in for any other particular expenditure, I won't be able to do that. Similarly, my dear friends, what we have done is we have a programmable central bank digital currency. So from now onwards, the Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Corporation has came up with the idea that why not we just, you know, link the CBDC based public distribution system. So we are linking the public distribution system with the central bank digital currency. In this, what we will be doing, we will be providing a coupons to the people, and these coupons these people can directly use for the in order to withdraw the food grains from the public distribution shops. Now, how exactly this can be done, my dear friends? You all know that in India, we are providing to the people the free food grains up to a limited number of up to a limited particular amount, right? So sometimes what was happening is that the amount that is being given to these people, let's take an example that the people were being given the scholarships. Now that scholarship was being used by people in some other parts because government was like, okay, we are giving you 500 rupees. So they were expecting that these people will be using it only for purchasing the food items. But what they were doing in the 500 rupees, they were purchasing some XYZ articles and not the food items. So that's where the objective of that particular scheme was basically getting defeated. So now government of India came up with the idea that why not we provide them the coupons which are programmable in nature. These coupons can only be used for purchasing the food item and not any other thing. So that we can have a better track that whether they are using the coupons or not, and if yes, they are using it, then in which area they are using. Whether they are using them legally onto the areas to which these are defined, or they are basically using them in the other parts. So that is why we have tried to link the public distribution system with the central bank digital currency. And this project has been launched in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and we will be making the public distribution system more transparent, modern, and simple here. Why, my dear friends? See, let's take an example that earlier, for example, in the school, my dear friends, what was happening that a student was coming into the school, his attendance was marked, right? Then in which subjects classes he was present. So basically, what was happening is that earlier there was a particular way in which this attendance register of the student might be tempered. It might be the case that the student was not coming to the school. Similarly, the person whether the person was taking the food grains from this required amount or not, in how much quality and how much quantity the food was being given to the person, right? So there was a scope of more and more leakages in that system. But now we have made it completely digital in nature. Like just like in the DBT, right? Where we directly provide the amount of money directly to the bank account of the person under the direct benefit transfer scheme. So basically, here also what we are going to do is we are having a programmable currency which can only be used to purchase the food grains. Now, my dear friends, it will ensure better quality, accurate quantity, and transparent distribution of the food grains. An Annapurna machine was also inaugurated, which can distribute 25 kg of food grains in 35 seconds. So, my dear friends, can you please tell me the name of the machine? So, you must be thinking here that, see, what are the different types of articles that we are going to cover in the month of February? Are they really important or not? Let me tell you guys, in this session, we will only be covering those particular articles which we have not covered earlier, and they can be asked in the examination, right? So this is one of the project which is really very important and can be asked in the examination. And this machine which has been mentioned here, it was inaugurated And this machine is having the capability of distributing 25 kg of food grains in 35 seconds, just like your ATM machine, right? In your ATM machine, you just go and swipe your debit card and it gives you the money. Similarly, here the person will go and the person will be able to withdraw 25 kg of food grains in just 35 seconds from this particular machine. What is the name of the machine? Annapurna. तो अन्न देने वाली मशीन का नाम है अन्नपूर्णा मशीन. Now the next news article is also related to the same. That is the government of India has launched a central bank digital currency based digital, digital food currency pilot in Gujarat under the public distribution system. The initiative has been launched in collaboration with the Reserve Bank of India and the government of Gujarat. Now, the pilot is being implemented in Ahmedabad, Anand, Valsad, and Surat districts of Gujarat. And under this CBDC framework, is what will happen? As I told you, digital coupons will be generated through the Reserve Bank of India, and they will be directly given to the beneficiaries as programmable digital currency. And these digital currencies can only be used for purchasing the food items. Beneficiaries can redeem their entitled quantity of food grains at the fair price shops. So they will be go to the fair price shops. They will be using the CBDC coupon or the voucher codes, and they will be withdrawing the particular quantity of the food grains that they are entitled. Right? The beneficiaries' digital wallets carry the programmable digital rupee, enabling the QR code based or coupon code based transactions at the fair price shops. Clear, everyone? So these digital coupons will be credited to the people in their digital wallets, and they will carry programmable digital rupee, which will enable the QR code based or coupon based transactions at the fair price shop. They can just go and with the help of that digital rupee, they can basically purchase the entitled quantity of the food grains from the fair price shops. The system eliminates repeated biometric authentication and addresses EPOS operational issues. So guys, what will happen? We are basically generating that digital coupon in that particular account only, in that person's account only. So there is no requirement of the biometric authentication, right? And we are not going to, have any other operational issues. Just the person will go through the digital wallet, the person will be able to withdraw the particular amount of food grains. Clear? So this will ensure secure, traceable, and real-time transactions, which generates a real-time digital trail to enhance transparency, monitoring, and accountability. The FPS dealers receive their margins on the real-time basis. तो बेसिकली जितने लोग लेकर जाएंगे उतना ही मार्जिन यहाँ पर फेयर प्राइस शॉप डीलर को भी मिलता रहेगा. क्लियर? तो इससे क्या होगा दोस्तों? पूरा का पूरा जो सिस्टम है सिक्योर होगा, डिजिटल होगा, ट्रांसपेरेंट होगा, लीक प्रूफ होगा. सो ये एक पायलट बेसिस पर हमने लॉन्च किया. कहाँ से? गांधीनगर, गुजरात. द पायलट विल बी एक्सपेंडेड टू द यूटीज ऑफ चंडीगढ़, पुडुचेरी एंड दादर एंड नागर हवेली एंड दमन एंड दीव in subsequent phases, right? And in the today's morning session, we have covered the new CM of the Puducherry. Can anybody tell me in the comment section what is the name of the new CM of Puducherry? We have just covered in the today's morning session. Let me see who among you is able to remember that. So I can see till now Harshal, Pratyush have given me the right answer to these questions. Well done, my dear friends. So you can see here the launch of CBDC based digital food currency pilot program, which has been launched in Gujarat, Gandhinagar, along with the Reserve Bank of India and the government of Gujarat. It has been launched in Ahmedabad, Valsad, Anand, and Surat districts of the Gujarat. Clear, everyone? I hope that you guys are able to understand it from examination point of view. And yes, Harshal has given me the right answer to this question. The name of the person of the new CM of Puducherry, that is N. Rangasamy. Absolutely right. And who is the new CM of Assam? That is Hemant Biswa Sharma. Clear, everyone? Okay. Yes. Fifth time. Now let's try to answer these questions. The CBDC based. So guys, are you ready to answer me these questions? Let's start. The CBDC based public distribution system has been launched in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. An Annapurna machine was also inaugurated which can distribute what amount of food grains in 35 seconds? 25 kg of the food grains. Let me tell you guys, this can also be created in the form of with the two blanks, a question with the two blanks, right? Where it is asking you that this can distribute dash kg of the food grains in dash seconds. So there will be different option like 25, 35, 45, 25 to make you confused. So we have to ensure that we are remembering this information in a quite great manner. The 25 kg is the food grain quantity and 35 seconds is the timeline. So Pratyush, Harshal, Rama, all of you have given me the right answer. Well done. Let's move on to the next part. The government of India has launched a digital CBDC-based digital food currency pilot in Gandhinagar, Gujarat under the public distribution system. It has been launched in collaboration with the Reserve Bank of India and the government of Gujarat. The digital coupons generated through the dash are credited directly to the beneficiaries as programmable digital currency. They are being generated through the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. Clear, everyone? So we are done with all these particular articles from the examination point of view. They are being generated through Reserve Bank of India. Clear, everyone? Let's move ahead to the next news article. That is the AI-based Bharat Vistar Phase 1 in Rajasthan. So, guys, I think that we have already covered the Bharat Vistar, right? So, we discussed earlier that for the problems of the farmers, we have came up with the initiative of Bharat Vistar. It is a kind of helpline number on which, whenever the farmers are having any queries, go to the they can just directly dial this particular helpline number and they can ask their queries, and with the help of that all the solutions regarding their queries will be provided to the people. Just like whenever you are having your queries related to the current affairs, so you just dial the chapters number, and in your own preferred language of English or Hindi you get the answers, right? Similarly, when the farmers are having any kind of queries, so earlier what was happening is they used to go to the different offices and they used to tell the location where they are in, where what exactly they should do, how to do, what not to do, right? So now farmers are having the one helpline. So basically, right now we all know that we are having all the skills which can be accessed through the smartphones. But what about the people who are having the feature phones? So we have to ensure that we are providing them the facilities on the feature phone as well. So that's why we came up with the idea that we can just have a very, a helpline number that is a 155261. So the person can call on that particular number and they can explain their problems, and they will be getting the solutions to their problems via that call only in their language. For now, it has been launched in the English and Hindi, and in the upcoming timeline, we will be expanding it to 11 more languages. Clear? So the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has launched the artificial intelligence-based Bharat Vistar scheme. This is the phase one of the scheme which is launched in Rajasthan during the AI summit in Delhi. तो दिल्ली में रिसेंटली एआई समिट हुआ था फरवरी मंथ के अंदर, जहां पर इस भारत विस्तार स्कीम फेज वन ऑफ राजस्थान को लॉन्च किया गया to provide farmers with agriculture related information using technology through smartphones and the ordinary mobile phones. क्लियर? तो ऑर्डिनरी मोबाइल फोन और स्मार्टफोन दोनों के जरिए दे विल बी एबल टू do this. Now, the same number provides the real-time Monday prices from the markets across the country. So, this particular helpline number is not just going to help the farmers. This can also provide the real-time Monday prices from markets across the nation. And right now, it has been launched in Hindi and English language, as I already told you, and will soon expand to 11 languages. Now, under the Bharat Vistar, we will be having a farmer identity card, which is being created under the scheme to store comprehensive farmer data, so that we can ensure that okay, so earlier what are the different crops the person has basically cultivated, and additionally what are the steps which have been provided to the person, so that we can ensure that the overall data of that particular farmer, right? Just like you are having your identity card, Aadhaar card, which is basically carrying your name, your father's name, your address, your date of birth. Then we are also having your biometrics, your photograph, your signature, right? All these things are there in the Aadhaar. Similarly, my dear friend, the farmer identity card will be carrying the data about the farmer. Clear? For now, there are different schemes which are being integrated with this Bharat Vistar scheme, that is the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, and soil health card, which are integrated. In the future all farmer related schemes will be linked. So अभी के लिए दो schemes को यहाँ include किया, that is the प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना and soil health card. ठीक है, इनको इंटीग्रेट किया है। और इन फ्यूचर आगे आने वाले टाइम में वी विल बी इंटीग्रेटिंग ऑल द फार्मर रिलेटेड स्कीम्स विद द भारत विस्तार. This will integrate entire agricultural system onto a single platform and provide information on the soil testing, seeds, fertilizers, and water requirements. Clear, everyone? I hope that this is clear to all of you. So, this is the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and Soil Health Card are the name of the two schemes which are integrated right now. So, let's try to answer the questions. Are you guys ready for this? So let's move on to the first part. The Dash has been launched, the artificial intelligence based Bharat Vistar scheme in during the AI summit in Delhi. So please tell me here which organization has launched the artificial intelligence based Bharat Vistar scheme and in which state it has been launched in the Indian state of Rajasthan, and what is the name of organization which has came up with this initiative? Let me see who will give me the right answer. So, my dear friends, it is the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. That is the right answer. Absolutely right. The farmers can dial helpline number 155261 to explain their problems and receive immediate solutions. It provides responses in the farmer's local language. It is started in Hindi and English, and later down the time, it will be expanded in 11 languages. So absolutely right, Ram and Pratish, both of you have given me the right answer. Moving ahead, Dash has been created under the scheme to store comprehensive farmer data. A farmer ID will be created. And for now, the two schemes are being integrated with the Bharat Vistar scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and Soil Health Card scheme. So yes, that's all from this news article. Clear, everyone? Are you guys getting it? Are you guys able to understand what are the important things that we are required to cover from examination point of view here? Clear, everyone? If yes, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box that yes, we are done. We are able to understand all the details of this article. Okay, well done. Now let's move on to the next article, that is the Startup India Fund of Funds 2.0. So we have already covered this scheme in a detailed manner in the month of April, right? So, my dear friends, we have already covered this particular article in the month of April in a very detailed manner, and we have already covered this scheme in a detailed, comprehensive manner. Let me give you a small over context, and you can just cover the scheme on your own after that, right? Now, my dear friends, see, in our country, we need to provide funds to the startup because see, there are so many people in our country who are having the good ideas, but they lack the support and they lack the support in terms of the funding and mentorship and the guidance to convert those ideas into the practicality in the real life, right? So those ideas basically just remain the ideas that they are not being able to convert into the real life products because of the lack of funding and support. So what happens is that these startups are being funded by which organization? They are being funded by the venture capitalists, the alternative investment funds. So now government of India decided that why not we just provide these startups a ecosystem. So government India says that we are not directly going to help these startups. So what we will be doing is we will be funding the money to the venture capitalists and the alternative investment funds, and these entities will be further investing in the startups. Clear? For this, we are having a total purpose of 10,000 crores for the purpose of mobilizing venture capital for the startup ecosystem of the country. क्लियर एवरीवन. सो हम क्या करेंगे, गवर्नमेंट पैसा देगी वेंचर कैपिटल और ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स को, और वो आगे जाकर पैसा देंगे किसको, दे विल बी गिविंग द मनी टू द स्टार्टअप. So we can understand it that this is the big tank, right? And there are the venture capitals and the alternative investment funds, and they are further connected with the different startups, right? So these are the different startups. So basically, government of India is adding 10,000 crore rupees here. They will be giving the money to the alternative investment fund and the venture capital. They will further distribute the funds to the different startups. Clear? So what is the corpus fund amount? That is 10,000 crore rupees. Absolutely right. So now all of you are requested to please go through this scheme on your own as a homework and try to revise it. Okay. If there is someone who has not covered it, guys, don't worry. So we have already provided the scheme coverage in the month of April, and April month is very important for you. So please ensure that you are watching that session in a detailed manner. Clear, everyone? Let's move on to the next news article. Now, the next news article is about the India's trade performance in the January 2026 and April to January 25-26. So, my dear friends, see, here the data is for the month of January, right? And we are right now in the month of May, and the exam will be taking place in the month of June. So that means this article stands no more importance right now from the examination point of view. So we can directly skip this particular data and the article because we are not required to cover this from examination point of view. Similar is the case with the wholesale price index for the month of January. It is not at all required to be covered from examination point of view. Clear, everyone? Now let's directly move on to the article number 8, that is launch of Sahi and Both at India AI Summit. So my dear friends, you all know that right now we are adding the usage of the artificial intelligence in the medical sector of the country. And we want to boost the sector with the help of the artificial intelligence. And that is why Government of India, under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, has launched two national initiatives which are titled as Sahi and Both. ठीक है? तो दोस्तों सबसे पहले जब भी हम एक नया आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस सिस्टम इकोसिस्टम बनाना चाहते हैं तो उसके लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है? उसके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है एक नया रूल बुक होना जिसके अंदर ये डिसाइड किया जाएगा कि ये आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को किस तरीके से इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा, कैसे इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा, किस हद तक इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा एंड on what areas we will be using that. Clear? Let's take an example that there is a school and the school wants to integrate the AI ecosystem in the school. So school first of all will be creating a rule book that how the students can use the AI, in which areas they will be using the AI, how we will be ensuring that the data of the students is quite safe in nature, on what areas the AI will be used by the students, at to what extent the AI will be used by the students. So all these different things will be considered by the school. Similarly, Government of India will be using this. Now, before implementing this system, the school must be doing the testing of the system, whether this whole system is working properly or not, without giving the, without sharing the details of the student, they will be giving the anonymized data to the system so that we can evaluate and see the practicality of that particular system, whether it is working properly or not, right? So before implementing something at a larger scale, we need to test it, right? Do you guys agree with me? If yes, please give me a thumbs up. So let me tell you that under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the two national initiatives will have been launched, that is Sahi and Both. When it comes to that rule book that I told you, so Sahi is that rule book, right, which will carry all these practices like which can be done with the help of the AI. And then both is basically, my dear friends, it is a testing of that particular AI ecosystem which will be implemented at a large scale for making the use of AI in the medical sector by just giving the anonymized data and see that how exactly the system is performing, right? So the first system is SAHI, which stands for Strategy for Artificial Intelligence and Healthcare for India. SAHI, Strategy for Artificial Intelligence in Healthcare for India. So it is a national guidance framework to enable the safe, ethical, evidence-based and inclusive adoption of artificial intelligence across India's healthcare system. तो इंडिया के हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम के अक्रॉस किस तरीके से हम एआई को अडॉप्ट करेंगे, इंक्लूसिव बनाएंगे, कैसे एविडेंस पे स्टडी की जाएगी, क्या एथिक्स का इस्तेमाल होगा, कितना वो सेफ होगा, ये सारी चीजों के अक्रॉस वी विल बी क्रिएटिंग अ रूल बुक, अ गाइडेंस फ्रेमवर्क, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड सही. It aims to provide strategic direction on governance, data stewardship, validation, deployment, and monitoring of AI solutions. Clear, it will be serving as a knowledge sharing and governance hub, promoting the best practices in health AI development. Clear, everyone? Now let's move on to the next part, that is the both. What is the both? I told you that this is the testing environment. This is the testing of that ecosystem that we want to implement at a larger scale. So this both stands for benchmarking of open data platform for health AI. It is benchmarking open data platform for health artificial intelligence. ठीक है, BOTH, benchmarking open data platform for health. So it is developed by the Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur along with the National Health Authority. It is a privacy preserving benchmarking platform. I told you that we are giving the anonymized data We're not sharing directly the details of the people, the patients, right? We are giving anonymized data. So that's why we are preserving the privacy of the patients, which enables rigorous evaluation of the AI models using diverse real-world health data without sharing the underlying data sets. As a digital public good, under the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, it is designed to strengthen trust, transparency, and quality assurance in health AI deployment. So, my dear friend, this artificial intelligence, can become it cannot become the doctor, but it can become the assistant to the doctor. So we can use this artificial intelligence in so many things. Like we can provide the data sets about the symptoms of the different diseases. And when the patient is telling that, okay, these are the problems that I am facing, on the basis of that, we can try to identify that, okay, what can be the possible part so that we can, fasten up the treatment process for that particular patient. Are you guys getting it? समझ पा रहे हैं सभी सो इसीलिए हमने लॉन्च किया सही एंड बोध किसने लॉन्च किया मिनिस्टर ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर ने सही स्टैंड्स फॉर स्ट्रेटेजिक आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इन हेल्थ केयर फॉर इंडिया एंड बोथ स्टैंड्स फॉर बेंचमार्किंग ओपन डेटा platform for health AI. Clear? That's all, my dear friends. Let's try to answer the questions. So this is the homework for all of you. The Startup India Funds of Funds 2.0. Now let's move on to the launch of Sahi and Both at India AI Summit. So which ministry has come up with this initiative? Please quickly tell me in the chat box. What is the name of the ministry? It is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which has launched two national initiatives, that is Sahi and Both at the India AI Summit. ठीक है, what exactly SAHI stands for? It is Strategy for Artificial Intelligence in Healthcare Sector of India. Then it is a dash guidance framework to enable the safe, ethical, evidence-based and inclusive adoption. It is a strategic guidance framework, my dear friends, for the artificial intelligence. And when it comes to the both, what exactly both stands for? Both stands for Benchmark Open Digital Platform for Health in Artificial Intelligence. It is developed by IIT Kanpur along with the National Health Authority. As a digital public good under the dash, it is designed to strengthen trust, transparency, and quality assurance in the health AI deployment. So, what will be the right answer? What will be the right answer here as a digital public good under which mission? Let me see who will give me the right answer. And these initiatives will aim to strengthen the usage of artificial intelligence in healthcare in our country. Yes, absolutely right. Herschel, you have given me the right answer. That is the Ayushman Bharat. And for the previous questions, both Pratyush and Ram have also given me the right answers. Well done, everyone. So that's what I expect from all of you, that after this much of the revisions, you guys will definitely be able to retain all this data from examination point of view. Clear? Let's move on to the next news article. So here, guys, we are having the periodic labor force survey monthly bulletin for January 2026. And right now, a few days back, we are already done with the monthly bulletin of the PLFS for the month of April, right? So, guys, month of April wala is really important one, and the January is not important. So we can directly skip this particular data. You're not required to see this particular article from examination point of view. Clear, everyone? Are you guys getting it? Let's move on to the next news article. So the next news article is an important one, my dear friends. How? Because the Department of Financial Services has released a report with the title Socio-Economic Impact Analysis of Incentive Schemes for Promotion of Rupee Debit Card and Low Value Bhim UPI. Let me tell you that few years back, Government of India came up with the initiative of incentivizing the usage and the promotion of the Rupee debit card. Basically, Government of India wanted that we should have more and more enrollments under the Rupee debit card, and we should promote more and more low value Bhim UPI transactions so that we can enhance and promote the ecosystem of digital payments in our country. So just to increase the volume and the value of the digital payment ecosystem in our country, we came up with this initiatives, and now we want to assess that whether the steps taken by us, they were really worthy or not. And that's why the Department of Financial Services has released a report that is the social economic impact analysis of incentive scheme for promotion of rupee debit card and low value BHIM UPI. The Department of Financial Services under the Ministry of Finance has released this report. The study was conducted by an independent third party research agency in consultation with the National Payment Corporation of India. So Department of Financial Services ने इस report को release किया. This an independent third party research agency was being enrolled for the consultation for this report along with the NPCI. और इसने evaluate किया the effectiveness of the government's incentive framework. Right, the incentive scheme was introduced in fiscal year 21-22 and continued till fiscal year 24-25. तो दोस्तों इन 4 साल में क्या changes हुआ 21-22 to 24-25. So when we promoted the rupee debit card and low value BHIM UPI transactions, what was the impact that we used to see? Let me tell you in a nutshell, the number of transactions in terms of value and the volume both, they have increased in these years when we have promoted the rupee debit card and we have promoted the low value BHIM UPI transactions. Even we have seen that for even the very, very low values, for now onwards, we have started seeing that people are using they are adopting the digital payments. Like earlier, people were like having the view that if we are required to give the 50 rupees, why to, pay through the UPI? We can also pay through the cash, right? But now onwards, what is seeing is in the new change, we have seen that the people are adopting the digital payments even for the smallest of the transactions. Now let's try to see here that according to this particular report, after this scheme, the digital transactions has increased 11 times. Guys, please remember this data. The digital transactions increased by 11 times between 2021 and 2025, and the UPI share in the total digital transactions increased to 80%. तो जो यूपीआई का शेयर था टोटल डिजिटल ट्रांजेक्शन में वो 80% तक जाकर इंक्रीज हो गया. ठीक है. अगर हम सारे डिजिटल ट्रांजेक्शन्स को देखें तो उसके अंदर सबसे ज्यादा शेयर किसका है? यूपीआई का है. यूनिफाइड पेमेंट इंटरफेस. Among the surveyed users, UPI accounted for 57% of the transactions, surpassing the cash at 38%. Now you can see that even the transactions, the digital transactions have surpassed the cash transaction. That means now we are aiming and we are becoming more cashless in nature. So how many times the digital transactions have increased? That is 11 times in 21 and 2025. And the UPI share was surged to 80%. Among the surveyed users, the UPI accounted for 57% of the transactions, surpassing cash at 38%. 65% of the UPI users reported multiple digital transactions per day. Adoption among 18 to 25 age group stood at 66%. Clear, everyone? So 65% of the UPI users, they reported multiple digital transactions on everyday basis, and the adoption was quite high in the age group of 18 to 25 because they accounted for 66% of the total transactions. 90% of the users reported increased confidence in the digital payments after using the UPI and the RuPay cards. तो UPI और RuPay cards को देखते हुए 90% of the users का confidence बढ़ा है digital payments के अंदर after the usage of UPI and the RuPay cards. 52% of the users cited cashback incentive as a key motivation, while 74% cited speed of the payment as primary advantage. So guys, everyone is having their own, reasons for using the digital payments. Why? Because for some of them, you can see that the cashback incentives was one of the very important reason, and for the other people, 74% mentioned that the speed of the payment is quite high in this, and that's why we are using the digital payment. Now, my dear friends, let me tell you that you must remember that that part of era when the Google Pay was being launched, and Google Pay was having the promo that when you will be referring the Google Pay to your friend, you will be getting 51 rupees cashback, right? So basically, Google Pay was incentivizing you for bringing more and more people on the Google Pay. So this is that cashback incentive that we are talking about. Clear, everyone? Now, the 94% of the small merchants reported the adoption of the UPI and 72% expressed the satisfaction. So, 94% of the small merchants reported the adoption of UPI and 72% expressed satisfaction. 57% reported increased sales after the digital adoption. तो कुछ लोगों की सेल भी बढ़ गई है दोस्तों आफ्टर द adoption of digital payments. Now, when it comes to the infrastructure and ecosystem expansion, the UPI QR deployment it has expanded from 9.3 crore to 65.8 crore. Third-party app providers increased from 16 to 38. Banks operational on the UPI increased from 260 to 661 in the March 2025. The decline was observed in the lower denomination currency notes and ATM withdrawals, indicating shift to the low-ticket digital payments. So basically, earlier I already told you that the lower denomination currency notes were really high in the circulation, but from onwards, what we have seen that the people are adopting the digital payments for even for the low-ticket transactions. That is for the amount of rupees 10, 20, 50, right? Now moving ahead, the financial support. The total government budgetary support was 8276 crore rupees. So यहाँ पर आप incentive disbursement देख सकते हैं for the adoption of the digital payments and the maximum was in the year of 23-24. Clear everyone? So it is quite a data heavy report, but yes, we have covered in a very different manner. So what is the name of that organization which has released this report? That is the Department of Financial Services under the Ministry of Finance, and this report was done in consultation with the NPCI. Clear? The scheme of the promotion of rupee debit card and the low value BHIM UPI, it was being launched for the period of 2021-2022 to 2024-2025. This time period is very important, which can be asked in the exam. Now moving ahead, the digital transactions guys, it has got increased by 11 times. UPI का शेयर कितना हुआ 80% तक था in the digital transactions. Among the surveyed users, जो UPI है, it accounted for 57% of the transactions. तो 57% जो transactions हैं हमारी वो UPI की थी, which surpassed cash at 38%. While 65% of the UPI users reported multiple digital transactions per day. तो रोज के 65% जो UPI users हैं, they reported the multiple digital transactions. Adoption was highest in the 18 to 25 age group at 66%. कितने यूजर्स का कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ा 90% ऑफ द यूजर्स का कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ा क्लियर and 52% of the users cited the cashback incentives and 74% of them cited speed of the payment as primary advantage. 94% of the small merchants reported the adoption of UPI, while how much percentage express satisfaction? That is 72%. ठीक है टोटल अगर आप देखोगे यूपीआई क्यूआर डिप्लॉयमेंट कितना हुआ 65.8 करोड़ हुआ थर्ड पार्टी ऐप इंक्रीज हुआ 16 to 38 और banks which are operational on the UPI platform increased from 216 to 661. Clear everyone? Now let's try to answer the questions. So which department has released this report? That is the Department of Financial Services, right? Under the Ministry of Finance has released the report. The third party research agency worked on this report in consultation with the National Payment Corporation of India. The incentive scheme was introduced in which year? 21-22 till 24-25 to promote the rupee debit card and low value BHIM UPI transactions. Clear? Now, my dear friends, moving ahead, the digital transaction has increased by what times? 11 times. And when it comes to the UPI share, its share was surged to 80%. Now, among the surveyed users, UPI accounted for what percentage of the transactions, my dear friends? Surpassing cash at 38%, that was 57%, right? Dash percentage of the UPI users reported multiple digital transactions. So, how much percentage of the UPI users reported multiple digital transactions? What will be the right answer? It is 65% of the UPI users, right? Now, what percentage of users reported increased confidence in the digital payments? That was what percent? That was 90%, right? So, what was the total budgetary support by the government? It was around 8,200 crores. So, we are done this with this. So, yes, we are done with all the important percentages and the data of this report. Are you guys able to retain this data from examination point of view? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if yes. Okay, absolutely right. Everybody of you is able to answer the question. Let's move on to the next news article. So FCI has signed 5-year MOU with the World Food Program for the rice supply. तो राइस सप्लाई के लिए 5 साल का एमओयू साइन किया है एफसीआई ने वर्ल्ड फूड प्रोग्राम के साथ. माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, यू नो व्हाट द वर्ल्ड फूड प्रोग्राम इज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड द काइंड ऑफ प्रोग्राम which has been launched for providing the people the food security. So what happens is that let's take an example. आप सभी ने देखा होगा whenever there is a natural calamity, natural disaster takes place in one of the areas, there is an organization which supply the small food kits to the people. Food packets are being provided by to the people by that particular organization, right? Similarly, and that work is being done by the World Food Program, right? And now this time, the Food Corporation of India has signed an MOU with the World Food Program for a period of 5 years to provide such type of help to the World Food Program, that we will be providing you the rice supply so that you can provide the food to these kind of areas to the people, right? So FCI has signed an MOU with the World Food Program for the supply of rice to support global humanitarian operations against hunger. Clear? So World Food Program will be providing these food supply to these people so that we can work against hunger in the world. Clear? It will be strengthening global food security, support humanitarian needs worldwide, and reinforce India's role in the global food system. तो इंडिया का जो रोल है ग्लोबल फूड सिस्टम में वो और ज्यादा बढ़ेगा. Right now, I am having a question for all of you. Please, everybody, tell me in the comment section, and this is the homework for all of you. Please tell me that food security, we are having a particular sustainable development goal, right? When it comes to the food security and working against hunger. So zero hunger is one of the sustainable development goal. You have to tell me that what is that goal which caters to the zero hunger. Clear? Let me tell you that in the last year examination, we have seen one of the questions across these lines only. When we had such a partnership under the World Food Program for the supply. Clear? So this is the homework for all of you. Under the MOU, FCI will supply 2 lakh metric tons of the rice, where up to 25% broken rice is also being accepted to the World Food Program. The agreement will be valid for a period of 5 years and can be extended by the mutual consent. The price will be decided annually by the mutual agreement. और जो current price है, that is fixed at rupees 2800 per quintal up to 31st March 2026. So 31st March 2026 तक के लिए जो price है that we are going to give, to at which we are going to give the rice to the World Food Program, that is rupees 2800 per quintal. Clear everyone? और आगे आने वाले सालों का जो प्राइस होगा that will be identified on the basis of the mutual agreement between the two entities. So the World Food Program, my dear friends, a very, very important part. It is the food assistance arm of the United Nations and the world's largest humanitarian organization which address hunger and food insecurity. तो हंगर और फूड इनसिक्योरिटी को के साथ फाइट करने के लिए we are having the program that is World Food Program. It was established in 1961 and it is headquartered in Rome, Italy. Parent body is the United Nations, and in 2020 the World Food Program also was recognized with the Nobel Peace Prize for combating hunger and preventing the hunger from being used as a weapon of war. ठीक है, वरना काफी बार क्या होता है कि कंट्रीज इस्तेमाल करते हैं और हंगर को एज अ वेपन ऑफ वॉर, राइट? So we have to prevent such kind of exploitation of this particular part. So in which year it was established? World Food Program 1961. Where is the headquarters? Rome, Italy. What is the name of the parent body? United Nations. Nobel Peace Prize was being given to the World Food Program in 2020. Now you will be telling me in the comment section who is the head. What is the name of the head of the World Food Program? That is your homework. Clear? So it works on the emergency food assistance, nutrition support, school feeding programs, and resilience and livelihood support. So these are the different areas on which it is being launched. Clear everyone? So now let's try to answer the questions in the comment section. Please try to give me the answers to all these questions now that I am going to ask you. So yes, Harshal, the same as the NCRT and the Income Tax Act. So Income Tax Act 1961 was being replaced this year by Income Tax Act 2025 from 1st of April 2026, right? And NCRT was deemed to be the university and it is established in 1961. So well done that you retain this information. Now moving ahead, please tell me the name of the organization which has signed 5-year MOU with World Food Program for rice supply. What is the right answer? The right answer is Food Corporation of India, FCI. It is signed an MOU with the World Food Program. Under the MOU, FCI will supply how much metric tons of the rice to the World Food Program? What will be the right answer to this question? What is that amount that we are having? So we all know that the agreement will be valid for 5 years. But what is the amount of the rice that we are going to supply to the World Food Program? That is 2 lakh metric tons. Absolutely right. Now let's move on to the World Food Program static details. It was established in 1961, headquartered in Rome, Italy. In which year the Nobel Peace Prize was being given to World Food Program? So well done, Pratyush and Herschel, for giving me the right answers to these questions in the comment section. The right answer is year 2020. Year 2020 is the right answer. Absolutely right. You have given me the right answer. Well done. Now let's move on to the next news article, that is India UK Offshore Wind Task Force. My dear friends, India UK Offshore Wind Task Force. और मैंने देख लिया है that Herschel and Pratish both have given me the right answer. That is Rome, Italy. तो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी भी गए थे रिसेंटली इटली के अंदर, right? So you must have heard about the Malodi incident, right? So now let's move on to the next article, my dear friends. India UK Offshore Wind Task Force. So, what is the offshore wind? First of all, that's what we need to understand. So, my dear friends, what happens is that you know that in the seashores, on the seashores and the oceans, on the border parts of the ocean, you see that there is a the wind basically passes and runs at a very high speed. Let's take an example that you are having the ceiling fan in your home, right? Or let's take an example, the exhaust fan, right? And you are having, and if you are placing that exhaust fan in the place where the speed of the air is really very high, it will start rotating at a very high speed, right? Even we see at times that when there is a kind of storm in our nearby locality, the exhaust fans which are installed at our home, they basically start running on their own, right? So let me tell you that when we are using this high speed winds and when we are placing these wind turbines in front of these particular winds, so what will happen? What will happen? They will start rotating at a very high speed, and now we can convert this energy into the electricity, right? So that is why what we do is that on the offshore areas, what are the offshore areas? That these are the seashores and the ocean shores where we basically set up the wind turbines. And what we can do, we can install the wind turbines in the sea or ocean waters where the speed of the air and the wind is really very high, and we can convert and generate the electricity from there. But let me tell you that it is not very easy just to, go and install the wind turbines there. No, that's not the scenario. We have to create the complete ecosystem. We have to basically have a port and we have to install the complete system, right? We have to see that how exactly we will be creating the energy from that. So it needs a basically better amount of setup. And let me tell you that United Kingdom is having that technology and it is having the capacity of upscaling the wind energy creation through these offshore wind, right? And India is having a very big market of the clean energy. So that is why both these countries joined together to create a task force. India and UK Offshore Wind Task Force was launched to accelerate strategic clean energy cooperation between India and the United Kingdom. The offshore wind refers to the generation of electricity using wind turbines installed in the sea or ocean waters, usually long coastlines. Clear? It is compared to the onshore wind The offshore projects benefit from stronger and more consistent wind speed, leading to a higher energy output and improved efficiency. तो onshore की वजह जो offshore projects हैं, my dear friend, they are more productive and more efficient, and that is why we are focusing on the offshore wind projects. That's why we created a task force. The task force has been constituted with the vision of 2055 and the fourth energy dialogue as a working mechanism to provide strategic leadership and coordination for India's offshore wind ecosystem. So India के offshore wind ecosystem के लिए we are having that strategic leadership and coordination, and that's why we have came up with this task force under the vision 2035. So United Kingdom will bring experience in scaling offshore wind, and India will offer scale and long-term demand and a growing clean energy ecosystem. And that's how, as in a partnership, we are going to upscale the creation of these setups, and we will be able to have more and more offshore wind energy. Now, what are the three pillars of this cooperation, my dear friends? One is the ecosystem planning. I told you that it is not very easy. We need to plan the whole setup. The market design is very important, which will include the seabed leasing frameworks, revenue certainty mechanisms, and then infrastructure and supply chain is there. Then financing and risk mitigation is there. So three pillars are there: ecosystem planning, infrastructure, supply chain, and the financing and the risk mitigation. Government has also introduced a viability gap funding scheme with an outlay of 7,453 crores to support early offshore wind projects. तो दोस्तों यहाँ पर क्या किया गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने एक viability gap funding scheme को भी लॉन्च किया. So basically what happens is that sometimes when we are having very big projects, so basically it becomes very difficult for us to came up with the funding for those projects. So to make them more viable, what we have done is we have created a scheme, a viability gap funding scheme, which is having the outlay of 7,453 crores, in which we will be supporting early offshore wind projects. Clear? Now, India is leading the hydrogen breakthrough goal under the International Breakthrough Agenda. The global program aims to promote a just transition of industry in developing countries and transition economies by fostering local production and application of the clean hydrogen. India's installed non-fossil fuel capacity has crossed 272 gigawatts, including over 141 gigawatt of solar and 55 gigawatt of wind capacity. Clear, everyone? I hope that you guys are able to understand the whole article. So what is the total amount of allocation that has been kept aside by the government of India as a viability gap funding scheme to support early offshore wind projects? The right answer is 7,453 crores. Absolutely right. Now, my dear friends, it's the time to give me the answer in the comment section for all these details that we have covered till now. So, India and Dash has signed an offshore wind task force. They have created offshore wind task force. What is the right answer? Indian United Kingdom. Indian United Kingdom is the right answer. The task force has been constituted under Vision 2035 and the fourth energy dialogue as a working mechanism. The government has introduced a viability gap funding scheme with a total outlay of dash. Now, what is the total outlay here? 7,453 crores. India's installed non-fossil fuel capacity has now crossed how many gigawatts? It has crossed 272 gigawatts. Absolutely right. Clear, everyone? So are you guys able to cover all the important details of this particular data from examination point of view? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you are able to understand. Yes, I can see that everybody of you has given me the right answer. Now let's move on to the next part, the Indo-French Center for Artificial Intelligence and Health. So my dear friends, India and France have came together to create the Indo-French Center for AI in Health. So what we are going to do here is we are going to use and utilize the artificial intelligence in health. I already told you that we have came up with the two initiatives. Can you please, before moving on to the article, can you please tell me the name of these two initiatives launched by the Minister of Health and Family Welfare for the usage of artificial intelligence in the health? What is the right answer? The right answer to this particular question is Sahi and both. Can anybody tell me the full form of Sahi and both? That is strategy for artificial intelligence in health. And what is the full form of both? The both stands for benchmarking open data for health, right? That is the right answer. Well done, Pratish. You have given me the right answer. Now let's move on to the next part. The Indo-French Center for Artificial Intelligence and Health was inaugurated at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. So Indo-French Center for Artificial Intelligence and Health was inaugurated at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. My dear friends, the center has been launched in the AIMS, New Delhi. And what is the aim here? To advance AI-driven research, medical education, and clinical innovation to address complex healthcare challenges. So, for addressing the complex healthcare challenges and for the clinical innovation, we have came up with the IFCAIH initiative. This has been established under a joint memorandum of understanding between the AIMS New Delhi, Sorbonne University, and Paris Brain Institute. So, Paris Brain Institute, AIMS Delhi, and Sorbonne University, the three have come together for executing this project in a cohesion manner, right? The initiative will include the academic collaboration with the IIT Delhi and leading French institutions to promote interdisciplinary research in the artificial intelligence. So, my dear friends, here what we will be doing is we will be having an academic collaboration with the IIT Delhi also and leading French institutions, and we will be promoting the interdisciplinary research in the artificial intelligence. So we will be having more and more research in the artificial intelligence, brain health, and the global healthcare systems under the Indo-French Center for AI in Health. Clear? The initiative will build upon ongoing India-France cooperation in the digital health, antimicrobial resistance, human resources for health, and responsible usage of health data. Clear, everyone? The initiative will build upon ongoing India-France cooperation in the digital health, antimicrobial resistance, and human resources for health and responsible usage of health data. The launch coincided with the Ren- Rencontres Universities. So just remember, guys, Rush, RUSS. The launch coincided with the rush held at AIMS New Delhi, which was coordinated by the French Embassy. So please remember Indo-French Center for Artificial Intelligence and Health. It is a collaboration of the three major institutes, Sorbonne University, Brain Health Institute, Paris Brain Institute, and the AIMS New Delhi. And who is the academic collaborator here? The academic collaboration will be done with the IIT Delhi and the leading French institutions. They will be promoting interdisciplinary research in artificial intelligence. Right? The launch coincided with the Rush RUSH held at AIMS New Delhi. Clear, everyone? So let's try to answer this question. The Indo-French Center for AI in Health was inaugurated at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. IFCAIH has been established under a joint MOU between the AIMS New Delhi, Sorbonne University, and the Dash Institute. What is the name of this institute? Paris Brain Institute. Absolutely right. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? Let's move on to the next news article. The Voice Era launched on Bhashini National Infrastructure. So the Voice Era has been launched on the Bhashini National Infrastructure. Now, my dear friend, this Voice Era is all about. What is this Voice Era is all about? Let me see who will give me the right answer. Anyone having any idea? So, Voice Era. My dear friends, we have basically discussed Bhashini so many times in the previous session. Bhashini, what exactly it is? It is that platform which has been launched to remove the linguistic barrier, which has been launched to remove the linguistic barrier in our society, right? And there are so many initiatives which are being launched by the government. There are websites on which these initiatives are listed, but the people are not able to benefit of these initiatives because they are not present in the language which these people can understand, right? So now we are not directly helping the people here. We will be helping basically the organizations. So what we are going to do is we created a similar stack. Now a different see. When we want to remove the linguistic barrier, we always tell you that see there is a particular system that we have created. Now that system is having different parameters. One is that the system must be having the language data set, right? The system must be having the hearing capabilities, understanding capability of that language. Then it will be having that interpretational skills. It will be able to generate the output. So basically, let's take an example that for every For every such kind of facility, we are having a stack. So we are having stack number one, stack number two, stack number three, stack number four, right? The four pillars, and these are basically making a stack. And that's what we are talking about. The voice area is basically a stack. The government will be giving the stack to all these departments. Now they are not required to create every pillar on their own. They will be able to directly work on that stack. That's it. Clear, everyone? So basically, it is a kind of, a notebook. Like I have already given you the pages. Now it's your turn to write the notes on the pages. Notebook, right? You can just make your own notebooks. Clear, everyone? I hope that this is clear to everyone of you. Okay, that's really good. So the Digital India Bhashini division under the Digital India Corporation, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, has launched Voice Era at the India AI Impact Summit 2026. The Voice Era एक open source end-to-end voice AI stack है developed in collaboration with the एक Step Foundation, COSS, Triple IIT Bengaluru and AI for Bharat. तो ये कुछ different stakeholders आए, they came together and they basically created the Voice Era. Voice Era क्या है? It is an open source and end-to-end voice AI stack developed in collaboration with Ekstep, AI for Bharat, Triple IIT Bengaluru, and the foundation, the COSS. Clear, everyone? So it is deployed on the Bhashini National Language Infrastructure, creating execution layer for multilingual language, voice, and language AI. The platform is designed to be open, pluggable, and interoperable, cloud deployable, and on-premise ready. It enables the secure and scalable deployment of voice systems across the government, research institutions, and innovation ecosystems. The integration expands Bhashini's capabilities from translation and language technologies to real-time speech systems, conversational AI, and multilingual telephony at population scale. Clear, all of you? So the voice era has been launched on which infrastructure? Bhashini Language National Infrastructure. Clear, under the Digital India Corporation at the India AI Impact Summit 2026. It has been launched with the help of what are the different collaborators for this particular initiative, except Foundation, COSS, Triple IT Bengaluru, and AI for Bharat. It will be deployed on Bhashini Language National Language Infrastructure. Clear to all of you? Let's try to answer these questions now. The voice era has been launched in Bhashini National Infrastructure. Everybody of you, please be ready to give me the answer to all these questions. So, Voice Era has been launched at the India AI Impact Summit 2026. It is an open source end-to-end voice AI stack developed in collaboration with which foundation? EXA Foundation and AI for Bharat. Voice Era is deployed on the Dash National Language Infrastructure. What is the name? It is the Bhashini National Language Infrastructure, creating a national execution layer for multilingual voice and language artificial intelligence. Clear, everybody? My dear future RBI Grade B officers, I hope that this data, this article is clear to everyone. Let's now move on to the next news article. So IICA has constituted a high-level advisory group on ease of doing business. तो ease of doing business के लिए इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स ने अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स एक हाई लेवल एडवाइजरी ग्रुप को लॉन्च किया है ऑन ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस. The group has been formed under the chairmanship of the Director General and CEO of IICA. Who is the CEO of IICA? Gyaneshwar Kumar Singh, right? And this initiative, this high-level advisory group will be promoting the transparent and globally competitive business ecosystem. The globally competitive business ecosystem create किया जाएगा, and this advisory group will be focusing on simplifying corporate compliance processes and rationalizing e-forms prescribed under the Companies Act 2013. So, my dear friends, let me tell you that in our country, there are so many businesses are there. Businesses, companies have been set up, right? Now, all these businesses, they are required to follow some kind of rules. Now, let's take an example that these rules are basically, or fragmented in nature. They are not have in the single rule book, and they are quite, some rules are here, some are there, some are there, some are here, right? At the ABC XYZ places. Now it becomes difficult for the businesses to be compliant with all of them. So that is why we understood that there is a requirement of simplification of these rules. And that is why what we did is, for simplifying these rules, we came up with the initiative of high level advisory group, which will really help in achieving the objectives of ease of doing business. And that is why Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs signed an MOU and created a high level advisory group on ease of doing business. Clear everyone? Under the chairmanship of which personality? Gyaneshwar Kumar Singh. So they will be focused on simplifying corporate compliance processes, rationalizing e-forms prescribed under the Companies Act 2013. It will examine the global best practices to ensure India's corporate regulatory framework, which remains efficient and investor friendly. It will recommend the measures to reduce the regulatory burden. तो जो regulatory burden है लोगों पर of the compliance उसको कम किया जाएगा. It will be assessing feasibility of the reforms, prepare a phased implementation roadmap. It will guide development of the system artifacts such as integrated form blueprint to improve user experience and the regulatory clarity. Clear everybody? The School of Business Environment IICA will serve as the secretariat and it will be supporting the research and coordination. So it will be serving as a secretariat to support research and coordination, and that is the School of Business Environment. IICA will be serving as the secretariat for this particular initiative for the high level group. And this for this, IICA has signed an MOU with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to undertake a research study which is titled as Re-envisioning Ease of Doing Business for Viksit Bharat 2047 to provide evidence-based policy recommendations. Clear everyone? So my dear friends, this high-level advisory group has been launched for which purpose? This high-level advisory group has been launched basically for simplification of the different compliances which are there for the businesses. So Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has constituted a high-level advisory group on the ease of doing business. And the group has been formed under the chairmanship of the Digital Director General of the CEO IICA. What is the name of the person? The name of the person is Gyaneshwar Kumar Singh. And they will be simplifying and rationalizing the e-forms prescribed under the Companies Act 2013. तो दोस्तों काफी सारे फॉर्म्स थे, उनको हमने स्ट्रीमलाइन किया, उनको सिंप्लीफाई किया और उसके बेसिस पर हम चीजों को और आसान बनाएंगे. तो ये जो हाई लेवल एडवाइजरी ग्रुप है, इट विल ओनली बी गिविंग द सजेशंस कि मान लो कि अगर कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 के अंदर देयर आर द डिफरेंट रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ द फॉर्म्स एंड द रूल्स दैट आर नीड टू बी कंप्लाइड. So basically, it can also provide the suggestion that okay, these are the amendments that can be done so that we can make it more easier for the people to make the compliances more easy. And that's how we will be enhancing the ease of doing business. And where will be the secretariat of the group? That is the School of Business Environment IICA. Clear everyone? So please tell me here, Dash constituted the high-level advisory group on the ease of doing business. What is the right answer? Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The group has been formed under the chairmanship of the Director General and CEO. What is the name of that person? Gyaneshwar Kumar Singh. Absolutely right. Now it will focus on simplifying corporate compliance processes and rationalizing e-forms prescribed under which Act? Companies Act 2013. Now the Dash IICA, the School of Business Environment, will be serving as a secretary to support research and coordination. So my dear friends, that's all from this news article. Clear everybody? Now let's try to move on to the next article, the gender-based statement for fiscal year 26-27. So what is the gender budget statement? My dear friends, you all know that like in your home also, you are having a particular budget of the expenses that you do. For example, आपकी you are preparing for the RBI Grade B officer exam, तो उसकी फीस कितनी जाएगी? You are taking some courses, right? So उसकी क्या फीस होगी? आपके घर में राशन आएगा, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी होगा, वाटर बिल होगा. You will be purchasing the clothes, you will be purchasing the food items, you will be purchasing the air conditioner in the summers, heater in the winter. So everything is having its own budget. There will be budget for you, for your siblings, for your father's commutation, for your mother, right? So basically, similarly, my dear friends, now let's take an example that India is a whole family. So now government of India basically wants to work for the women. We want to work for the women. and we want to came up with the new initiatives where we can with which we can lead to the women empowerment so that we can empower more and more women in our nation. And that is why we are having the specific allocation that we give to the different ministries and departments for the women empowerment. And that's what comes under the gender budget statement. So हर एक budget का एक gender budget statement होता है, and we are going to today discuss about the gender budget statement for fiscal year 26-27. What is allocation, क्या हुआ, किस चीज के लिए किया गया, क्या परसेंटेज है, everything we will be covering in this particular article. So the allocation of 5.01 lakh crore has been reported in the gender budget statement for 26-27 for the welfare of women and girls. तो women and girls की welfare के लिए 5.01 लाख करोड़ का हमारे पास एक gender budget statement है for this year. GBS is a statement in the union budget that reports allocations made for the welfare of women and girls. It presents the share of gender-related allocations in the total union budget and includes the allocations reported by various ministries and departments and union territories. This marks an increase of 11.55% over the 4.49 lakh crore allocation in the fiscal year 25-26. So, my dear friends, this marks an increase of 11.55% over the 4.49 lakh crore allocation. तो जो हमारा allocation है 4.49 lakh करोड़ का, उसके 11.55% इंक्रीमेंट यहाँ देखने को मिला है in the fiscal year 25-26. क्लियर एवरीवन? तो लास्ट ईयर 25-26 में क्या एलोकेशन था? 4.49 लाख करोड़. इस साल कितना है? अराउंड 5.01 lakh crore, which is an increment of 11.55% from the last year. Now, when it comes to the share of the gender budget, it is increased to 9.37% in the fiscal year 26-27 from 8.86% in last year. तो लास्ट ईयर जो बजट था हमारा, उसका टोटल जेंडर बजट स्टेटमेंट की बात की जाती तो इट अकाउंटेड फॉर 8.86% एंड नाउ दिस ईयर इट हैज इंक्रीज्ड टू 9.37%. Clear everyone? A total of the 53 industries and the departments in the 5 union territories reported allocations in the fiscal year 26-27 compared to 49 ministries and departments and 5 UTs in the fiscal year 25-26. तो टोटल 53 मिनिस्ट्रीज और डिपार्टमेंट्स और 5 यूनियन टेरिटरीज को एलोकेशन गए हैं इस साल अंडर द जेंडर बजट स्टेटमेंट. और इस साल का जो अमाउंट है दैट इज द हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ रिपोर्टिंग मिनिस्ट्रीज एंड डिपार्टमेंट्स सिंस द इंसेप्शन ऑफ द जेंडर बजट स्टेटमेंट. तो आज तक की पूरी हिस्ट्री के अंदर हमने जितने नंबर ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट्स, मिनिस्ट्रीज और यूटीज को ये एलोकेशन दिए हैं, दिस ईयर इट वाज द मैक्सिमम. तो व्हाट इज द नंबर? 53 व्हिच कैन बी वेटिंग फॉर यू इन द एग्जामिनेशन. क्लियर? Now, the 4 new ministries and the departments have reported allocations in the gender budget statement for 26-27. Now, what exactly are the different parts in which we have divided the overall budget allocation for the genders? My dear friends, it includes part A, part B, and part C. So, under the part A, what exactly it will be? We are having 100% women specific scheme. तो दोस्तों हमने क्या किया? डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द एलोकेशन टू दीज पर्टिकुलर मिनिस्ट्रीज एंड द डिपार्टमेंट्स, वी डिवाइडेड द एलोकेशन इनटू द 3 पार्ट्स, दैट इज पार्ट ए, पार्ट बी एंड पार्ट सी. पार्ट ए में वो स्कीम्स हैं जो पूरी 100% वुमेन स्पेसिफिक स्कीम्स हैं. पार्ट बी में वो स्कीम्स हैं जहां पर वाइडर बेस ऑफ द बेनिफिशियरीज आर वुमेन्स ओनली. एंड देन पार्ट सी है वेयर इट इज बिलो 30% एलोकेशन फॉर द वुमेन. ऐसी स्कीम्स जहां पर वुमेन का जो बेस है थोड़ा कम है, तो 30% एलोकेशन वुमेन्स के लिए ही है वहां. ठीक है? तो सबसे ज्यादा जो एलोकेशन है इट कम्स अंडर द पार्ट बी वेयर 30 to 99% ऑफ द एलोकेशन फॉर द वुमेन इज देयर एंड द टोटल अमाउंट वाज 3.63 lakhs. तो ओवरऑल अमाउंट इज 5.01 lakhs. पार्ट ए, पार्ट बी, पार्ट सी वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड द परसेंटेजेस ऑफ द वुमेन स्पेसिफिक स्कीम्स. क्लियर एवरीवन? आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू. Now, the top 5 ministries and departments reporting over 30% of their allocations in the gender budget for fiscal year 26-27. So, 5 ministries जिनका 30% से ज्यादा का allocation gender budget के ऊपर है, which includes Ministry of Women and Child Development, Department of Rural Development, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, and Department of Food and Public Distribution. That is the right answer. So, guys, let's move ahead. Let's again try to revise this article, a very important article, gender budget statement. What was the amount? 5.01 lakh crore. लास्ट ईयर कितना था? 4.49 लाख करोड़ था. लास्ट ईयर से कितना इंक्रीमेंट हुआ? 11.55% हुआ. अगर बजट के अगर हम बजट के प्रपोर्शन में देखा जाए तो लास्ट ईयर 8.86% ऑफ द जेंडर बजट स्टेटमेंट, राइट, इट वाज ऑफ द बजट, एंड दिस ईयर इट हैज इंक्रीज टू 9.37%. दैट मीन्स अगर 100 रुपीज दिए गए हैं टू द बजट तो 9.37 रुपीज आर फॉर द जेंडर बजट स्टेटमेंट, राइट. कितनी मिनिस्ट्रीज और स्टेटमेंट्स, कितनी मिनिस्ट्रीज डिपार्टमेंट्स ऑफ यूनियन टेरिटरीज को एलोकेशन गए सर? दैट इज 53 एंड 5, राइट. And this is the highest number of the reporting ministries or departments since the inception of the gender budget statement. Three parts में part A, part B, part C, maximum the part B. Part A में 100% है, part B में 30 to 99% है, part C में below 30%. So my dear friends, we are done with this. Let's try to answer the question. So please tell me here, are you guys ready to give me the answers in the comment section? Please give me a thumbs up if yes, you are ready to give me the answers in the comment section. Kindly try to give me the answer in the chat box. Okay, so we are moving on to the gender budget statement for fiscal year 26-27. An allocation of how much amount has been reported in the gender budget statement for the fiscal year 26-27, that is 5.01 lakh crores. Now, GBS is the statement in the union budget that reports allocations made for the welfare of which two pillars, that is women's and girls. Absolutely right. This marks an increase of what amount, what percentage over the last year? 4.49 lakh crore, that is 11.55%. And we have basically divided the 5.01 lakh crore into the three different pillars, that is part A, part B, and the part C. Part A is basically 100% women specific schemes, part B is 30 to 99% of allocation, and part C is below 30% allocation for women. Now, the top five ministries and departments reporting more than dash percent of their allocations in the gender budget includes, so Ministry of Women and Child Development, Department of Rural Development, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, and Department of Food and Public Distribution. So these are the top five ministry departments reporting more than 50% of their allocations in the gender budget. Sorry, not 50 but 30%, guys. Sorry, it is a 30%. Please pardon me, it is a 30%. Clear, everybody? So we are done with another important article of the today's session. Now let's move on to the next session. Sorry, the next article, that is the Prime Minister has outlined Manav Vision. दोस्तों मानव विजन क्या है? सो रिसेंटली एक समिट हुई, इंडिया एआई इम्पैक्ट समिट, जहां पर प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी ने प्रेजेंट किया एक ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक एआई फ्रेमवर्क जिसका नाम है मानव. आप सभी जानते हैं दैट वी आर यूजिंग द आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस टू अ वेरी हाई स्केल. हम एआई का इस्तेमाल काफी हद तक कर रहे हैं, राइट. टू अ वेरी लार्ज एक्सटेंट वी आर यूजिंग द आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. नाउ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया मेंशन्ड दैट सी दिस एआई दैट वी आर यूजिंग, it is increasing the productivity and efficiency of all the sector. That is really no doubt in this, but we have to ensure that it is being launched and implemented in a holistical, in a more responsible manner. So basically we have to ensure that it is quite moral in nature. It should follow all the ethics, right? There should not be the damage to the privacy of any person. So everything should be ethical. Then there should be a accountability as well, that if the AI does something wrong, then who will be accountable for that? Then it should ensure that it should basically, the artificial intelligence that we are working on it, so it should follow all the rules and regulations of the nation. It should not be like that it is violating the rules of the government of India, right? It should be made accessible and inclusive for all the people. It should not be like it is only, available to the privileged class of the society. No, every person should have be having the accessibility to the artificial intelligence, right? And that's how everything should be valid and legitimate. And that's why basically a artificial intelligence में मानवता लाने के लिए, एक मानव विजन लाने के लिए प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी ने लॉन्च किया मानव विजन. Now what Manav stands for? Manav stands for moral and ethical systems, accountable governance, national sovereignty, accessible and inclusive, and valid and legitimate. So this is basically the full form of Manav. So you have to ensure that you are retaining the full form of Manav because it is really very important. Manav stands for moral and ethical systems, accountable governance, national sovereignty, accessible and inclusive AI, and valued and legitimate system. The vision proposes AI as an extension of human aspirations. So, देखो, if humans are there, then only AI is really useful. If we are not there, then for whom we will be using the AI? Right? There is no point there. So that is why, my dear friends, it is the extension of the human aspirations, ethics, and dignity, and not merely a system driven by the data and algorithms. The framework reflects the national commitment supported by the coordinated programs and policy initiatives. Now, what are the different pillars of this particular part? So, these are five pillars: MANAV, that is MANA, that is moral and ethical systems. I told you, accountable governance, national sovereignty, accessible inclusive AI, and valid and legitimate systems. And for this, my dear friends, India AI mission has approved with an outlay of exceeding 10,300 crores, supporting this vision by strengthening compute capacity, data system scaling, and innovation. So, इसीलिए हमने launch किया India AI mission having an outlay exceeding rupees 10,300 crores. Clear, all of you? Are you guys getting the point? So, India AI mission is approved with an outlay exceeding 10,300 crores. I hope this is clear to every one of you. So now let's try to understand and let's try to answer the questions in the comment section. My dear friends, are you guys ready to give me the answer in the chat box? So let's start. During the inaugural address at the India AI Impact Summit, the Prime Minister presented a human-centric AI framework called MANA. What exactly MANA stands for? First of all, these are the five pillars of the MANA. M stands for moral and ethical values. A stands for accountability governance. N stands for national sovereignty. A stands for inclusive artificial intelligence. And V stands for validity and legitimate. Right? Legitimate validity is the right answer. The India AI mission has approved with an outlay exceeding dash amount, that is 10,300 crore rupees. Clear, everyone? We are done with all the important articles from the examination point of view here till now. Are you guys able to retain all this data or not? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if yes. Are you people feeling confident now, guys, after attending these sessions? Are you feeling empowered? Are you really able to make the most out of these sessions? Are these sessions really helpful for all of you? Please tell me in the chat box. Because it is very, very important for me to understand this so that we can ensure that we are moving in the right direction. Otherwise, we will be bringing some changes to the sessions, right? So that we can make them more effective for all of you. So I can see here that yes, the people are saying yes, that we are getting benefit from the session. That's really good, my dear friends. And now, my dear friends, it's already been 1.5 hours that we are conducting this session. Now, before moving ahead and we move ahead for covering the remaining part of this particular session, now let's try to have a 5 to 6 minutes of the break and then we can come back and resume the session. Clear, everyone? So right now in my watch, the time is 5:33 and we will be back by 5:39. And I want all of you to ensure that you are coming back in the session after the break. And your time starts now. Hello everyone. So please give me a thumbs up in the chat box. You guys are back after the break so that we can resume the session. So I'm waiting for your response in the chat box. Please give me a thumbs up so that we can resume this particular session. So is everyone back after the break? So my dear future RBI officers, we are already done with the 17 articles of the today's session and some odd 15 articles are all left for this particular session, and after that this particular document and the week of the February will get over. So I can see here that Pratyush has given me the thumbs up in the chat box. Yogi Singh, it's my first lecture, sir. Welcome to the session, Yogi. I believe that you are really loving the way we are conducting this session, right? If not, what exactly we can work upon, please feel free to tell me. Okay. Now let's move ahead to the next article of the session, that is the National Center of Excellence for Skilling in Aeronautics and Defense. So my dear friends, Prime Minister has announced the establishment of National Center of Excellence for Skilling in Aeronautics and Defense at the National Skill Training Institute कानपुर. तो NSTI कानपुर के अंदर ये नेशनल सेंटर ऑफ एक्सेलेंस बनाया गया है एंड दिस सेंटर will be having the objective of skilling in aeronautics and the defense. It will be having the collaboration with the government of the French Republic under the Pradhan Mantri Skilling and Employment Transformation to the upgraded ITIs that is called PM Setu scheme. So PM Setu scheme के under we will be providing the skilling and employability transformations to the people, and this scheme is under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. The proposed National Center of Excellence will provide advanced skill training in aeronautics, maintenance, repair, and overhaul, airport operations, defense manufacturing, and allied domains. So, my dear friends, we are going to set up a National Center of Excellence. And this Center of Excellence will really help the people to get the acquired skills in the aeronautics and the defense. Defense के अंदर हम MRO, that is maintenance, repair, and overhaul की training देंगे. Then we will be having the training in the aeronautics also, in the airport operations also to these people. And under which scheme this will be done? Under the PM Setu scheme. And for this collaboration has been done with which government? That is the French. With France, we have had this particular collaboration. It will strengthen India's skilling architecture, reinforcing the global partnerships and supporting the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. So when it comes to this, my dear friends, Pradhan Mantri Skilling and Employability Transformation through upgraded ITI, that is PMC2, the total outlay of the scheme is 60,000 crore rupees with the objective of upgrading 1,000 industrial training institutes across India. My dear friends, you all know that in our country, see, one thing is theory and one thing is practical exposure. The theory is basically you already get to know, right? In the books, but in the industrial training institutes, we are providing that kind of training to the people, which is the kind of things that you will be doing as a part of your job in that technical industry, right? So that's why we are upgrading the 1,000 industrial training institutes across the country. And the key focus area will include the modernizing infrastructure, aligning curriculum with the industry demand, and strengthening the employability outcomes. Clear, everyone? So that's all from this article. So can you please tell me in which organization the National Center of Excellence will be set up in the skilling in aeronautics and defense? That is the NSTI Kanpur. Okay, it will be set up in collaboration with the government of the French Republic under the PM Setu scheme. And for this, we have signed an MOU with the French Republic. And the PM Setu scheme is having the total outlay of 60,000 crores. Objective is upgradation of 1,000 industrial training institutes. Let's try to answer the question here. So, National Center of Excellence for Sailing Aeronautics and Defense has been launched by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for skilling in aeronautics and defense is at NSTI Kanpur. The center will be set up in collaboration with the government of which republic? That is the French Republic. Now, the center aims to strengthen India's dash reinforcing global partnerships and support the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 through industry, integrated vocational education and training. So what will be the right answer here? So my dear friends, this will be aiming to strengthen India's skilling architecture And when it comes to the different other center of excellence that will be created, they will be created in Ludhiana, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Bhubaneswar. Now you will be able to answer that question. The next part was that what are the different other areas where exactly we will be having the other center of excellence, that is Ludhiana, and please tell me the right answer to this. It's Hyderabad. Now this has been come under the PM Setu scheme, which is the scheme of the Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Now, what is the total outlay of that? That is 60,000 crores. And what is the objective? We will be upgrading. How many industrial training institutes under the scheme? That is 1,000. 1,000 industrial training institutes will be there. Absolutely right. So well done, Harshal and Pratyush. You have given me the right answer to this question. All other people, please ensure that you are not just watching me and just not listening me. You are also giving me the answers in the comment section, because that's only the way in which this session is going to be productive for all of you. Let's move on to the next article, the revitalizing apprenticeship ecosystem, insights, challenges, recommendations, and the best practices. So we are talking about the apprenticeship ecosystem. My dear friends, you all know that in our country, as I told you the example of the ITIs, right? So apprenticeships are basically those platforms which provides you the proper practical exposure to what exactly the requirement of the skills in the industries, right? So basically in the organizations, when we are in the higher education in the colleges, we only see that what are the knowledge in the book, but what is its practical implementation and how it is that knowledge has been implemented in the industry. That's what we are only able to aware and get the hands-on experience when we are basically working in the industry, right? So these apprenticeships basically help us to understand that in a better manner. So let's move on to this report. This report has been launched by the Niti Aayog with the title Revitalizing Apprenticeship Ecosystem, Insights, Challenges, Recommendations, and the Best Practices. So somewhere we will be focusing on the revitalization of the apprenticeship ecosystem in our country. We will be providing a comprehensive analysis of India's apprenticeship landscape, insights and challenges and recommendations so that we can strengthen the apprenticeship system as a part of India's skilling and employment strategy. So this particular report basically proposes 20 action-oriented recommendations with an implementation plan and measurable performance metrics. The recommendations are organized into the five interlinked pillars. So my dear friends, what are these five interlinked pillars? This includes policy and systemic reforms, structural and regulatory strengthening. तो सबसे पहले हमें पॉलिसी पे काम करना है, फिर जो रेगुलेटर है उसकी स्ट्रेंथनिंग को फोकस करना है, उसको और मजबूत बनाना है. Then state and district specific interventions, we have to take different steps at the state and district levels, industry and employer engagement, apprenticeship and aspirant level support mechanism. तो यहाँ पर इन across these five interlinked pillars we are going to provide the support. सबसे पहले क्या बनेगा दोस्तों? पॉलिसी बनेगी, सिस्टम लेवल पर रिफॉर्म्स बनेंगे, फिर रेगुलेटर्स को स्ट्रेंथन किया जाएगा, फिर स्टेट और डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स अपने अपने स्टेप्स लेंगे, इंडस्ट्री और एम्प्लॉयर से एंगेजमेंट होगा, और फिर अप्रेंटिस और एस्पिरेंट लेवल सपोर्ट मैकेनिज्म होगा, ग्राउंड लेवल पर इनको सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड किया जाएगा. Now, what are the different proposals as a part of the scheme? We will be streamlining the apprenticeship through a common platform. एक common platform के जरिए उनको streamline किया जाएगा. We will be introducing the apprenticeship engagement index for benchmarking the performance. We will be empowering district skill committees as the nodal implementation anchors. Then we will be enhancing the MSME participation through cluster-based consortia and community networks. The report will also include the best practices from states, industry, and international experiences, and emphasizes the apprenticeships as a strategic investment in human capital and national competitiveness. Clear, everyone? Are you getting it? So, my dear friends, this revitalizing apprenticeship ecosystem, insights, challenges, recommendations, and best practices report has been launched by which organization? Niti Aayog, and it has proposed the 20 action-oriented recommendations, which is having the five interlinked pillars. What are the five interlinked pillars? This includes, सबसे पहले हमने बात की policy and systemic reform, फिर structural and regulatory strengthening होगी. Then we will be working on the state and the district specific interventions, industry and employer engagement, and apprentice and aspirant level support mechanism will be there. Clear, everybody? I hope this is clear to every one of you. We will be also engaging and introducing the apprenticeship engagement index. So now let's move ahead. So please tell me the name of the organization which has released this report. What is the right answer? Niti Aayog is the right answer. Now, what are the five interlinked pillars here? First one was policy and first one was the policy reforms, right? Strategy and policy reforms will be there. Then we will be strengthening the regulators. So these are the two interlinked pillars. And after that, we are having the state and district specific intervention, industry and employer engagement, and the apprentice and aspirant level support mechanism. So that will be there. Clear to everybody? Are you guys able to understand this article? Absolutely right. Everybody has given me the right answer. Now let's move on to the next article. The Vibrant Village Program 2 has been launched for development of border villages. So my dear friends, you all know that, let's take an example that there is your house. There is your house, right? And if I say that there is a gate and every house is having gate, right? From which the person can come inside and go outside the house. Now, if I say that the security system of the gate is very weak, that particular gate is very weak, what will happen? Your house will be less secure and anyone can come in and come out at any point of time. And there will be lack of security among the people, your family members who are living in the house. Am I right or wrong? So this will be the scenario. Let me tell you, just like the gates, let me tell you that our border villages are also kind of gate, right? And if these border villages are weak in nature, weak in terms of the economy, weak in terms of the laws, weak in terms of the facilities, then definitely they will be engaging with the outside entities, and this will lead to the movability of the people from outside the border, right? They will be coming in contact, will be involved in the illegal activities, and they can be lured by the outsiders that see your government is not doing anything for you. Why not you just join hands and we will be providing you more uh, freedom and we will be providing you more economic opportunities and they will be filtrating into the country through these gates. So these border villages are the gates of the nation, right? And earlier what was used to happen is that we used to call them as the last village. But now government has decided that we won't be calling them the last village. They will be the first village of the country because these are the stepping stones. So we cannot make them last. They are the first. Similarly, my dear friends, when you will be going to in Uttarakhand, after crossing the Panch Prayags, right? Dev Prayag, Nand Prayag, Vishnu Prayag, right? And all the Prayags, the five Prayags. Then you go to the Badrinath and that you are having the village Mana. Earlier, that village Mana was called as the last village of the country. But now, when you visit that place, you will see that it is called as the first village. That is Mana. Clear, everyone? So the Vibrant Village program has been launched by the Government of India for the development of these border villages. The Government of India has launched the Vibrant Village program too in the Nathompur village in Assam. And Assam के अंदर नाथोपुर विलेज है माय डियर फ्रेंड्स. तो यहाँ पर वहां से हमने वाइब्रेंट विलेज प्रोग्राम 2 को लॉन्च किया है एंड वी आर वर्किंग ऑन द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द बॉर्डर विलेजेस. So we want to make these villages, border villages vibrant and that is why we have come up with this initiative where we will be providing the basic facilities and good infrastructure to the people of the border villages. So VVP2 was organized by Cabinet, was approved by Cabinet in 2025 with an outlay of 6,839 crores for the development of border villages across the country. It was launched as a central sector scheme. Let me tell you a very important point, my dear friends, that when the Vibrant Village Program 1 was launched, it was a centrally sponsored scheme. But the Vibrant Village Program 2, it is a central sector scheme. That means 100% funding will be launched by the central government. Right? It will be Ministry of Home Affairs scheme to provide basic facilities and infrastructure similar to other villages in the country. तो जो infrastructure हमारे बाकी villages में है, वो infrastructure in first villages of the country के अंदर भी होगा. Right? We will be including the employment opportunities, education, routes, telecommunications and the connectivity. We will be creating better living conditions, adequate livelihood opportunities, so that we can have the prosperous, safe borders, and we can control the trans-border crime also. What is the trans-border crime? So, guys, let me tell you that in our border villages, it is not that much, difficult to move from one place to the another, right? Let me tell you that at one point of time we went to the Nepal, right? And let me tell you, the person who was working in our hotel, which was in India only, that hotel was in India only. That person was from Nepal only, and every day that person was coming to India, doing his shift, and he is coming back to his country in Nepal, right? So basically, it is so easy to come and go. You just need to show your Aadhaar card. There will be little bit security, and then you can move in and outside. So with Nepal, we are having the friendly relations, right? But that will not be the case with the other countries, right? So basically, that's why we have to ensure that we are focusing on the border villages in a very beautiful manner, so that we can stop all these kind of trans-border crimes. We can assimilate the border population within the nation, and we can basically make them the eyes and ears of the country, right? So that they can transmit the information to the government that, see, this is something which can be happening, and if there is a particular type of the infiltration, then we can also regulate that part and we can take the timely action. Clear, everyone? Are you guys getting the point? So Vibrant Village Program 2 was launched in 2025 with the approval of 6,839 crores for the development of border villages across the country. It is launched as a central sector scheme under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and it provides basic facilities and infrastructure similar to the other villages in the country, including employment opportunities, education, roads, telecommunications, and connectivity. So what was the objective? Objective is to create better living conditions and adequate the livelihood opportunities to ensure prosperous and the safe borders and to control the trans-border crime. Right, my dear friends? Let me tell you that our border forces are really doing a very beautiful work in maintaining the security and the safety of the nation. In the border areas, we are having a very tight security, and basically, we are also required to ensure that we are providing now the better infrastructure facilities to the people, so that we are having the good cooperation with the people of the border areas also. It covers 1,954 villages across 334 blocks in 17 states located along the international border. So how many villages are there? 1,954 villages are there. Almost 2,000 villages are there across the 334 blocks in 17 states which are located along the international border. The states covered include Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Gujarat, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tripura, Uttarakhand, UP, and West Bengal. The board program also focuses on security, saturation of welfare schemes, and improved connectivity in the border areas. तो सिक्योरिटी पर काम होगा, सेचुरेशन पे काम होगा, वेलफेयर स्कीम्स की कनेक्टिविटी को बेहतर बनाया जाएगा ऑन द बॉर्डर एरियाज. Clear, everyone? In the Assam, the program will cover 140 villages across the 26 blocks in the 9 districts. Vibrant Village program aims to transform border villages by treating them as the first village of India and strengthening development and stability in the border regions. Government approved Vibrant Village program in 2023 as a centrally sponsored scheme. So I told you Vibrant Village 1 program was launched in 23 as a centrally sponsored scheme. In 2025, government came up with the Vibrant Village program 2, which is a central sector scheme where 100% funding has been given by the government of India. So the Vibrant Village 1 program was launched as a comprehensive development of 662 select villages in the 46 blocks. Students, whenever we are starting an initiative, we are starting it at a small level, right? So earlier we were having 662 selected villages in the 46 blocks in the Vibrant Village 1 program across 19 districts. But now in the Vibrant Village 2 program, we are having 1,954 villages, almost 3 times in the 334 blocks in 17 states of the country. So that's all, my dear friends, from this news article. I believe that everybody of you is able to understand all the important aspect of the news. If yes, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box that yes, we are able to understand. So here, the Vibrant Village Program 2 has been launched for the development of border villages. and this program was been launched from Nathapur village in Indian state of Assam. It has been approved by the Union Cabinet in which year 2025 with an outlay of 6,839 crores for the development of water villages across the country. It was launched as a central sector scheme with the 100% funding will be from the Government of India under the Ministry of Home Affairs. That scheme has been launched. In Assam, the program will cover how many villages? 140 villages across 26 blocks in 9 districts. And overall, we will be focusing on 1,954 villages. Clear, everyone? Clear, everybody? Let's move on to the next part. The Vibrant Village program will aim to transform border villages by treating them as the dash villages of India. So they will be treated as first villages of India. And the government approved the Vibrant Village 1 program as a centrally sponsored scheme in 2023. So 2023 may be focused on 662 select villages in 46 blocks. Clear, everybody? So I can see in the chat box, everybody of you is able to give me the answer in the comment section in the correct manner. That's really great. Now let's move on to the next news article. My dear future RBI officers, the next article is the index of 8 core industries recorded 4.0 growth in January 26. The data is of January 2026. That means we are not required to cover this data. This is an outdated data. We are only required to cover the latest data from examination point of view. Now moving ahead to the next part, the Ministry of Fisheries has launched access pass for the fishing. Access pass for fishing. Let me tell you, my dear friends, a very, very important point. See, whenever we are going for the stadium to watch the IPL match, you need a pass with you, right? You need a pass to enter into the stadium and to watch the match, right? Similarly, let me tell you that when there is a country, let's take an example that this is the border of the country. This there to the right side there is a land, to the left side there is an ocean, right? Now, basically, India is having the exclusive economic zone up to 200 nautical miles. That is 370 kilometers, right? So India is having the exclusive economic zones in these ocean waters till 200 nautical miles. That means this territory belongs to India. India can exploit this territory, explore these ocean waters for the oil, for the gas, for the fishing purposes, right? So right now, guys, what has happened is the Ministry of Fisheries has basically given an access pass to the Indian fishers. So they have said that, okay, hey, Indian fishers, you can basically use this particular territory for the fishing purposes, right? You can explore this particular ocean water for the fishing purposes, right? But make sure you are not crossing this limit of the 200 nautical miles, because till 200 nautical miles only we are having the control. After that, we won't be having the control. Clear? So the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying has launched an access pass for fishing in India's exclusive economic zone at Veeraval, Gujarat. तो गुजरात के अंदर ये एक्सेस पास दिया गया है. The exclusive economic zone is a maritime zone extending up to 200 nautical miles, about 370 kilometers from a country's coastline, within which the coastal state has sovereign rights to explore, exploit, conserve and manage the natural resources. तो हम सारे natural resources को explore कर सकते हैं, conserve कर सकते हैं, exploit कर सकते हैं. For example, fish, oil, gas, minerals in the sea, seabed and subsoil. So we can explore all these different areas as a part of this particular access pass. So the access pass system is completely online and free of cost, aimed at improving the access traceability and incomes for fishermen. तो ये जो एक्सेस पास सिस्टम है ये completely ऑनलाइन होगा और फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट होगा, किसी को कोई चार्ज नहीं किया जाएगा. और यहाँ पर डिजिटलाइज भी हमने किया है क्योंकि डिजिटल पासेस यहाँ प्रोवाइड किए जाएंगे, with the help of which we can improve the access, traceability and income for the fishermen. फिशरमैन का जो हमारा स्कोप ऑफ लाइवलीहुड अपॉर्चुनिटी था उसको हमने और बेहतर कर दिया दोस्तों with the launch of this access pass. Now the initiative will seek to expand the offshore fishing, promote responsible use of marine resources and strengthening the governance on India's exclusive economic zone. As announced in the budget 2026, fish catch by any Indian vessel in the EEZ or high seas will be duty free. अगर एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन के अंदर आपने कोई भी फिश you have captured in the fishing activity, so basically that fish will be considered as a duty free, right? So you don't need to pay any duty for that fish according to the budget 2026. Clear, everyone? Are you guys able to understand this article from examination point of view? So guys, earlier right now here we are talking about the offshore fishing. Earlier we talked about the offshore wind task force. Can anybody tell me that with which country India has created the task force of the offshore wind task force? Let me see who will give me the right answer. So what is the name of that country with which we have came up with this initiative? That is the United Kingdom. Absolutely right. So now, my dear friends, I believe this article is quite clear to every one of you. Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying has launched this access pass in Veerawal, Gujarat. Clear? Let's try to answer the questions. So let's try to answer the questions. I hope that all of you are ready with your answers. Minister of Fisheries launched the which facility for fishing? That is the access pass for fishing. They have launched an access pass for fishing in India's exclusive economic zone at Veerawal, Gujarat. Exclusive economic zone is a maritime zone extending up to 200 nautical miles, right? That is 370 kilometers. The access pass system is completely digital and free of cost. We are not going to charge any penny for the same. As announced in the budget 26, fish catch by any Indian vessel in the exclusive economic zone or high seas will be duty free. That's all from this article, my dear friends. And I can see that Harshal and Pratyush, both of you have given me the right answer. Well done. Let's move on to the next news article. So now, guys, we are having the India has joined the PEC Silica coalition. तो दोस्तों इंडिया ने यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के साथ मिलकर एक पैक्स सिलिका कोalition को ज्वाइन किया है फॉर्मली एंड विद दिस पैक्स सिलिका कोalition is going to strengthen the strategic technology and supply chain cooperation between India and United States. My dear friends, you all know that we are working a lot in the area of the artificial intelligence. और इसके लिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को एक्टिविटीज को एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए वी नीड सम सेमीकंडक्टर्स. For that, we need some chips. In these chips require some rare earth metals and the critical minerals, right? So basically, what if these minerals, these chips, these semiconductors, for this we are only dependent on the other countries? What will happen? These countries can basically dictate us, right? They can make the most out of the advantage that these people are not having the semiconductors, how they will be excel in the AI. So why not we are just joining and making a club of the countries which are having these, all such kind of parts, and we can create a proper supply chain where every country is having the proper access to that particular chips, to the semiconductors, so that we are not basically, you know, dependent on any other country. So basically here we are combating the role of the China here, right? So India has joined the PEC Silica coalition, which strengthens the strategic technology and supply chain cooperation between India and the United States. The coalition focuses on securing the global silicon stack, which includes critical minerals, semiconductor fabrication, advanced AI systems, and development deployment infrastructure. तो हमारे पास दोस्तों सिलिकॉन स्टैक के लिए कितनी चीजें हैं? क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स की जरूरत है, सेमीकंडक्टर फैब्रिकेशन की रिक्वायरमेंट है, एडवांस्ड एआई सिस्टम चाहिए, डिप्लॉयमेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए. So we cannot stay dependent on outside countries. So that's why PEC Silica, as a strategic coalition of trusted nations, will work together to strengthen the technology supply chain. And this will reduce the over concentration of the global technology supply chains, prevent economic coercion, and ensure development and governance of the emerging technologies by open and democratic societies. Clear, everybody? I hope that you guys are able to understand it. PEC Silica coalition. So please try to answer the question. Which country has formally joined the PEC Silica coalition? That is India. Right? India has joined in cooperation with the United States, and they will be creating a particular group which will be working together to strengthen the technology supply chain. Clear, everybody? Absolutely right. India is the right answer. Now, moving on to the next article, guys, you all know that we have already covered this national accounts base year, right? So many times we have already covered these news articles in a detailed manner. So Ministry of Statistics program implementation revised the base year of national accounts to fiscal year 22-23 from. So what was the earlier base year, my dear friends? Can you please tell me in the chat box? And let me tell you, in the meantime, let me tell you that this particular decision was taken under the committee under the chairmanship of Professor B.N. Goldar. Clear, everybody? I hope that this is clear to all of you. So we have already covered this article, my dear friends, from the examination point of view. Absolutely right. So please remember the new base year now is 22-23. Right? So we are skipping this article altogether. We have already covered it from examination point of view. Similarly, we have covered the base year for India's merchandise trade indices also, which has been revised to fiscal year 22-23. Earlier, the base year was fiscal year 2012-13. So we have now changed the base year from 2012-13 to 2022-23. Clear, everyone? See, for the national accounts, the committee was basically of the BN Goldar. And now when it comes to the merchandise trade, the committee chairperson is Nachiket Chattopadhyay. Clear, everyone? So that's all from this news article. Let's move on to the next news article now. We are having the India and Brazil, which have signed an MOU. So India has signed an MOU with the Brazil across the different areas, guys. So recently you all know that we covered the MOU with another country, right? Similarly, with the Brazil also we have signed so many MOUs. We have signed an MOU in the mining and minerals. We have signed an MOU in the framework of the bilateral cooperation across the steel value chain. We have signed the MOU for the MSME infrastructure. We have signed an MOU in regulation of the pharmaceutical and medical products. India's Central Drug Standard Control Organization, Brazil National Health Regulatory Agency, has also signed an MOU in the New Delhi. Then we have signed an MOU to enhance cooperation in the postal sector as well. So in the different areas, we have signed this MOU with the Brazil. Like we are having the postal sector, we are having the MOU with the in the MSME infrastructure and the steel supply chain, right? So these are the different MOUs that has been launched and signed between India and Brazil. Clear, everyone? So we are not, required to go into that much detail of that article. So that's why now we are just directly moving on to the next article, and next article is a very important one. That is, nationwide campaign has been launched, which is titled as "Badhna hai to yahan judna hai" launched. Right? So guys, what is the campaign? Badhna hai to yahan judna hai. For example, let's take an example that I claim to all of you that see whatever the current affairs we are doing is the bestest of the current affair. Or agar if you guys are not joining the chapters, then you are basically not going to make it to the RBI Grade B officer. Let's take an example, right? So this particular campaign is having the same kind of objective. So basically this says that if you want to grow, then you have to connect with us. If you want to grow, if you want to go ahead in your life, you have to connect with us. Now, how we are going to do that? That's what we are talking about in this particular article. So, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has launched a nationwide awareness campaign titled "Badhna hai to yahan judna hai." And under this initiative, we are basically promoting one of a very important initiative, that is SIDH. SIDH stands for Skill India Digital Hub. So, Skill India Digital Hub is the name of that particular platform, the program which we are promoting under the Badhna hai to yahan judna hai campaign. Clear? India will strengthen India's digital skilling ecosystem. SIDH is an integrated digital platform for skilling, employment, and lifelong learning with more than 1.5 crore registered candidates. तो 1.5 करोड़ से ज्यादा रजिस्टर्ड कैंडिडेट्स हैं जो सिद्ध का हिस्सा बन चुके हैं. इट इज स्टैंड फॉर स्किल इंडिया डिजिटल हब. ये एक इंटीग्रेटेड डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर स्किलिंग, एम्प्लॉयमेंट और लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग इनिशिएटिव्स और स्किल्स आपको सिखाए जाते हैं. सो नाउ वी वांट टू मेक पीपल मोर अवेयर एंड we have to increase their participation on the SIDH platform, right? Because India is presently in the transition era. We are adapting so many technological changes, like we have discussed so many times about the introduction and adoption of AI in our country, right? So the SID integrates the multiple government skilling initiatives and provides the industry-aligned and future-ready courses with personalized recommendations on the learner interest and the career goals. The key features of the platform will include AI-enabled mobile-first platform, learning management system-based central learning hub, digitally verified credentials, QR code-enabled personalized digital CVs, Aadhaar-based eKYC registration and OTP-enabled mobile access. Availability in more than 21 Indian languages is there. So there's so many important facilities and the features are being involved on the SIDH platform. So, my dear friends, which ministry has launched this nationwide campaign? Please give me the answer. Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And what is the name of the platform which they are promoting? That is SIDH. SIDH stands for Skill India Digital Hub. And more than 1.5 crore registered candidates have already participated under the SIDH platform. It will be having EA-enabled mobile-first platform, LMS-based learning, central learning hub will be there. Digitally verified credentials will be there. QR code enabled personalized digital CVs will be there. Right? It will be expanded in 21 languages. It is available in more than 21 languages. Clear, everybody? I hope that this part is clear to everyone. Let's try to answer the question. And you can see here, guys, that brand ambassador for this initiative is basically Amitabh Bachchan ji. Right? You can see his face. So this we have already covered. Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, my dear friends, to revise the national account base year to fiscal year 22-23. And this decision was taken under the chairmanship of BN Goldar Committee. Now the base year for India's merchandise trade has been changed to fiscal year 22-23. The earlier base year was 2012-13 under the chairmanship of which personality this decision was taken. Let me see who will give me the right answer. The right answer is Nachiket Chattopadhyay. Absolutely right. Nachiket Chattopadhyay is the right answer. Clear? Now, my dear friends, a nationwide campaign बढ़ना है तो यहाँ जुड़ना है launched by which ministry? That is the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship to expand the participation in the SIDH platform. What is the SIDH stands for? Skill India Digital Hub. That is the right answer. Now let's move on to the next part. Now we are moving on to the Chintan Shivir. Guys, the Chintan Shivir was held in Ahmedabad on scaling the pharmaceutical exports of the country. So let me tell you that here the Chintan Shivir is not that much important, but the data which was announced in the Shivir was more important. So this Chintan Shivir was being titled as it was themed as the scaling of pharma exports. Scaling of pharma exports is the basically the Chintan Shivir, right? Now, when it comes to the India-related data, India's pharmaceutical exports has reached $30.47 billion in 24-25, which registered 9.4% growth over the previous year. तो पिछले साल से कितना ग्रोथ हुआ 9.4% हुआ और 24-25 के अंदर we have reached 30.47 billion US dollars. So the pharmaceutical exports has reached $30.47 billion in fiscal year 24-25, which registered 9.4% growth over the last financial year. India's pharmaceutical sector is valued at around $60 billion and is projected to reach 130 billion by 2030. तो 2030 तक कितना पहुंचेंगे 130 और प्रेजेंटली कितना वैल्यू है $60 billion. दैट इज द राइट आंसर. फार्मास्यूटिकल एक्सपोर्ट कितना पहुंचा दोस्तों $30.47 billion. Clear, everybody? Clear to everyone? That's all from this news article. Now let's try to answer the question. So the Chintan Shiver interaction was held in which place? Ahmedabad, with the theme scaling of pharma exports. The India pharmaceutical exports reached 30.47 billion US dollars. And what was the growth rate over the previous year? 9.4% growth rate. Right? So what is the India's target reaching by 2030? That is $130 billion. Absolutely right. Now, what is India's rank here? India is ranked third globally by volume in pharmaceutical production. So India is ranked third. So we missed this part. Now we have covered this. Okay. Clear, everyone? I hope that this is clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next part. So IFSCA and IICA have signed an MOU. IFSCA and IICA, that is the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, has signed an MOU to establish a structured framework for collaboration in capacity building, policy research, and knowledge partnership. They aim to enhance regulatory effectiveness and strengthen the corporate governance standards with the GIFT IFSC. Now, IICA will provide training and policy support to IFSCA and IFSC registered candidates to help them comply with the evolving regulatory standards and global governance practices. Clear, everyone? Now, the training areas will include the corporate and allied laws, corporate governance, environmental, social, and governance, and the cross border transactions and restructuring. So, the training areas will include so many varied areas like corporate and allied laws, ESG framework, cross border transactions, and restructuring. And for this, an MOU has been signed between IFSCA and Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. That is the right answer. Clear, everybody? Everyone clear with this? Okay, ji. Let's move on to the next article now. The 25th Central Level Coordination Committee meeting of Day NRLM, that is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. So, my dear friend, this meeting was held under the Day NRLM in Hyderabad, Telangana. The CLCC is basically stands for the Central Level Coordination Committee, and it was its 25th meeting, which has happened in Hyderabad, Telangana. It assisted the Department of Rural Development in policy formulation, monitoring, and evaluation of self-help groups. So, what we have done in this meeting, we have done the we have basically assisted the Department of Rural Development that how exactly we can help in policy formulation, we can monitor, we can evaluate the self-help group linkage programs, and how we can meet all these targets on annual basis. Now, the Secretary of the Ministry of Rural Development served as the chairman of the committee, and we have identified some good findings. What are the key findings here? That over the last 14 years, DNRLM has mobilized more than 10 crore rural poor women into the 93 lakh self-help groups. So, my dear friends, we have mobilized more than 10 crore rural poor women. We have focused on the 10 crore rural poor women into 93 self-help groups and their federations across all states and union territories. My dear friend, let me give you an example. That let's take an example. A single woman is going to the bank, for taking a loan, right? So when the bank will say that, okay, so what is the collateral that you can give? What is your skill set? So it will be asking her 100 questions, and the person will get, demoralized, and even the bank will also not be having that much confidence on the women. So there are higher chances that she will be denied the loan. But now let's take an example that women is a part of the self-help group. A self-help group carrying the different women members. And now this woman is having the good credit history in the as the contribution to the self-help group. So now when bank will see that, now bank will be able to have some confidence on the women to give some credit to the women, right? So that's why under the day NRLM what we have done is we have incorporated the women into the 93 lakh self-help group. So 10 crore rural poor women are being incorporated into 93 lakh self-help groups and their federations across all the states and union territories. These self-help group institutions manage an internal corpus which exceeds 1.2 lakh crores. The program has enabled the cumulative credit disbursements of over 12 lakh crore through the bank linkage supported by high on-time repayment by the self-help group members. दोस्तों सबसे पहले तो see that's why we always say that unity is having the more maximum power. Why? When these women were separate entities, so basically what was the money that they were having was quite small. But now when we collectively see the total contribution and the corpus that these self-help groups are having, that is 1.2 lakh crore rupees. So this is the amount that government of India allocates to the various schemes, right? So 1.2 lakh crore is the right answer. And this program, that is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission, it has enabled the cumulative credit disbursement of over 12 lakh crore rupees. तो इस प्रोग्राम के जरिए 12 लाख करोड़ रुपए का डिसबर्समेंट किया गया है थ्रू द बैंक लिंकेज सपोर्टेड बाय हाई ऑन टाइम रीपेमेंट बाय द सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप मेंबर्स. Clear all? Now, to simplify the credit delivery, to promote digital finance adoption, and to strengthen the financial capability among the rural women, three major national initiatives were launched during the event. तो इस इवेंट के दौरान तीन बड़े इनिशिएटिव्स को लॉन्च किया गया. That includes individual enterprise bank loan system for self-help group members, UPI-based credit lines for self-help group members, and the digital modules on financial literacy for the self-help group members. So these are the three initiatives which have been launched. Additionally, Ministry of Rural Development under the Government of India, it organized a national conclave on the financial literacy and resilience in Hyderabad. It brought together the policymakers, regulators, and the financial institutions, state rural livelihood missions, and the community leaders to deliberate on strengthening financial awareness, enhancing household resilience, and advancing the inclusive economic growth across the rural India. Clear, everybody? So we can see that the 25th Central Level Coordination Committee meeting was held under the day NRLM in Hyderabad, Telangana. And we have seen 10 crore rural poor women are being incorporated into 93 lakh self-help group members over the period of last 14 years. And we are having internal corpus of exceeding 1.2 lakh crores. Clear, everyone? I hope that this part is clear to everybody of you. And who served as the chairman? The secretary to the Ministry of Rural Development served as the chairperson. Now, are you guys ready to give me the answer in the chat box? Are you guys ready? Okay, let's start. So, IFSCA and which organization has signed an MOU for a structured framework for collaboration in the capacity building, policy research, and knowledge partnership? What is the right answer? Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs is the right answer. Absolutely right. Now, my dear friends, moving on to the next part, the 25th Central Level Coordination Committee CLCC meeting of day NRLM was held in which place? Hyderabad, Telangana. The secretary to the which ministry served as the chairman of the committee? That was Ministry of Rural Development. And over the last 14 years, the day NRLM has mobilized more than dash crore rural poor women into the 93 lakh self-help groups. What is the right answer? How many women? 10 crore. My dear friends, more than 10 crore rural poor women are being incorporated into 93 lakh self-help group members. So well done, Harshal, Pratyush, both of you are just rocking in this session. You have given me the right answer to all the questions in the today's session. Well done. Now, my dear future RBI officers, we are moving on to the RBI notifications. So here the first article is the New India Cooperative Bank Limited excluded from the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934. So my dear friends, any bank which is listed on the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934, these banks are called the scheduled banks, and this New India Cooperative Bank has been removed from the second schedule of RBI Act 1934. That's what we need to cover from this article. Clear? Moving ahead, the monetary penalty on UCO Bank. So guys, recently the Reserve Bank of India has penalized the UCO Bank for its non-compliance with the RBI directions on the periodicity of the payment of interest on savings deposits, locker rent rules, credit information reporting for the self-help group members. And that is why it was been penalized with the 38.6 lakh rupees. So 38.6 lakh rupees का फाइन किस पर लगाया गया? यूको बैंक पर लगाया गया. Clear, everyone? The penalty was imposed under the provision of the Banking Regulations Act 1949 and Credit Information Companies Regulation Act 2005. तो बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट 1949 और क्रेडिट इंफॉर्मेशन कंपनीज रेगुलेशन एक्ट 2005 के अंडर हमने ये पेनल्टी इनके ऊपर लगाई है. क्लियर, एवरीवन? यूको बैंक, व्हाट इज अमाउंट? 38.6 lakhs. नाउ माय डियर फ्रेंड, द मिनट्स ऑफ द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमिटी मीटिंग. सो ये हमने ऑलरेडी अप्रैल मंथ में कवर कर लिया था दोस्तों. सो अंडर विच सेक्शन वी हैव टू बेसिकली आरबीआई सपोज टू provide the minutes of the monetary policy committee meet? That is under the section 45ZB of the RBI Act 1934. The monetary policy committee meet takes place, and under the section 45ZL of the RBI Act 1934, RBI is supposed to publish on the every 14th day after every meeting of the monetary policy committee the minutes of the proceedings of the meeting. Clear, everyone? So that's what we need to understand from examination point of view. Okay, my dear friends, I hope that this is clear to everyone. So now it's the time to solve the questions. Now it's the time to solve the questions. So please tell me here, the New India Cooperative Bank Limited has been excluded from which schedule of the RBI Act 1934? That is the second schedule. Absolutely right. Now tell me, the bank schedule included in the schedule are called scheduled banks. तो जो आरबीआई के सेकंड शेड्यूल में आते हैं उनको क्या कहते हैं? scheduled banks कहा जाता है. Then comes the minutes of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, February 4 to 6. So, my dear friends, under the which section the Monetary Policy Committee meet? The Monetary Policy Committee of the RBI basically sits. It is a section 45ZB, and under which act? Under RBI Act 1934. Clear? And under which section the RBI is supposed to publish the minutes of meeting after 14 days of every MPC meet? That is 45ZL is the section under which we do this. Clear, everyone? All of you? Are you guys done? I can see in the chat box, Harshal, Pratyush, both of them have given me the right answer to both these questions. And my dear friends, with this, we are done with another week of the February. So we are done with the 16th to 22nd of February 2026. Now the next homework for all of you is that first of all, you have to ensure that you are reading the PDF, you are revising the PDF, and then you are moving on to the solving the MCQs, right? And when you are done with the March, April, May general awareness current affairs of the phase 1 section, then you can move on to the February month of phase 1 GE articles also. Clear, everyone? So now the people who are new, so they will be having the question in their mind, sir, from where exactly we can access these particular documents. Let me tell you, my dear friends, what we can do. That just go to the chapters website, right? Go to the chapters website. On the top right corner, there are courses. And there you will see all categories on the left corner. Go to the package and you will see the current affair packages there. When you will open the current affair package, scroll it down, go to the view all. So here we have provided you the current affair chapter of February. When you will open this chapter, my dear friends, you will see that we have provided you all the PDFs, quizzes, weekly compilations, monthly compilations of the month of February 2026. So this is from where you are required to ensure that you will be covering these articles. Clear, everyone? So that's all, my dear friends, from the today's session. Now, if you are having any feedback for the session, you can definitely tell me in the chat box. And also, if you are having any queries, feel free to ask me in the chat box. So one very important update that I would like to give you here, and that update is that, my dear friends, the class that we have covered today, earlier it was supposed to be done in the two separate classes, right? That is today and tomorrow. But as we have covered it today only, so now I am giving you some time that you can take some time and tomorrow give the time to the revision, right? And the day after tomorrow, we will be having the session of yours for the last week of the February. Clear, everyone? Everybody clear with this? If yes, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box so that I can ensure that yes, you are able to understand all these points from the examination point of view. Clear? If you are having any queries, please feel free to ask. I am waiting for your doubts. Otherwise, we can conclude this particular session. So I can see here that there are no more queries in any person's mind, right? So my dear friends, that was all from the today's session. Now I will be meeting you tomorrow at 8 a.m. with another important daily current affair class.